Look, I just want to speak to the person who's in charge. I can't believe it. What's your name again? Is it Captain Goodwin? Godwin? I don't know. I don't get. I ordered 50 bats and 2 fruitcakes, and none of them have arrived. I just don't know. This is the worst fleet I've ever been in. This is the absolute appalling treatment. What are you drinking? Is that jizz? And who are you? Who are you? Can't you do something about this? Where are my beavers?
Space. The final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Adequate. Our ongoing mission to review every Star Trek episode and movie in existence until we are cancelled and replaced by something far superior. To seek out new guests and make them very uncomfortable. To boldly go where very many other Star Trek-based YouTube shows have gone before. Welcome! It is Friday night, the end of days is currently outside, and it is another episode of Trekking Up North. I am your host as ever, Captain Goodwill, and joining me is the rather handsome, freshly shaved Geesian from the planet Honk, Science Officer Synoiz, and a very special guest this week, Treks and Trekkers, ladies and gentlemen, aliens of all various species. We do have Captain Joe Dove from Captain's Quadrant. Gentlemen, how are you this apocalyptic Friday?
Good. Ironically, we're also about to face an apocalyptic storm. We are slowly awaiting a very terrible construct of 2 fronts that are just bombarding us severely. So we're seeing weather.
We've got the storm and the Tories in Britain, so that's practically the same. Really.
Stories, as they call them.
Stories.
Yeah, it is bad out there at the moment. If the stream does end, don't worry, I have died. And
put that on the bingo card, Joe.
Yeah.
Finally.
Straight on the bingo card, and then the Geesian will have to take command of the Adequate.
Don't die, Goodwill. Don't die.
I have had
We've seen what happens when I'm in charge.
I have had this stream prepared for days. I have had everything done, and then suddenly, in like the hour before we go live, everything started to flicker, started to go wrong, framing went out, scenes reverted to last week's for some strange reason despite updating them. My prophecy pen, just became...
What does it say?
Focus.
Actually, just fuck off.
Actually, just fuck off.
I like that a lot.
That'd be good because you can just sit there with the pen while someone's talking to you and you're like...
Oh yeah, this is my work pen. This is my work pen.
Nice.
Yeah, it's so everything that's why we're slightly late and there was a bit of a technical hiccup, but we are here. But
Live and in person, baby.
But the first and foremost, what I have to do is wish someone a very happy birthday.
Oh, is it your birthday, Synoiz?
No. He doesn't have birthdays.
When you get to my age, you just go, what? It's December again.
Science Officer Synoiz celebrates hatchings.
I do buddings, like, what's that guy on Deep Space Nine who just gets mentioned once? Where it's this guy and he's had like 50 children or something.
Or you the race from this week's episode of Lower Decks where you just touch people to procreate.
Yeah, and then you procreate.
I'm dying now, give me your cheek.
I'm going to talk about something about that, but
yes, it's
carry on.
Whose
birthday is it?
It is my father's birthday today.
Oh wow!
Happy birthday,
Dad.
Father Goodwill. Yes.
Is he in the chat?
He will be in the chat, but he will be watching live.
Okay.
Can I call him Daddy Goodwill?
No, you may not.
Hello there, Daddy Goodwill.
You guys already ruined any sort of relationship we could ever build based on the charity stream or what you got him to search on that, which will not be.
Did you see it? Were you there for that bit, Joe?
I was there for a lot of the bits. I had a great time.
We did Quiplash. We were doing Quiplash, and the subject of pegging got brought up quite a lot. And then Goodwill's parents were watching the stream, and they were like, "What's pegging? Let's Google it." And it's just like.
At least it's not like my mom that's like, "Oh, Joe, do you know what pegging is?" She's telling me what it is. Like, Ma, I don't want to know.
It's the only time I've ever screamed live on air, because I got a text from my mother saying, "Dad's looking at it now," and I was like, "No!"
Not now.
But yes, it is my father's birthday. He is 60 years old today.
That's amazing. That's
So-
a good age.
Great.
I would like to toast and dedicate this week's episode to my father. Thank you for me.
Birthing.
An empty glass.
Yeah.
There we go.
Well, not birthing,
Yeah.
but thank you for me.
Yeah, for being a part of it.
However,
Yeah, you and the hand of the cheek.
yeah.
Get the
Thank
other
you
one
for allowing this person to be conceived to annoy everyone in Star Trek.
There you go.
Thank you for not putting me back in, Father.
Yes. But happy birthday, Dad. His name is Philip, if anyone wants to know. Because I can see the comment.
Goodwill.
I can see the comment saying, "Happy birthday, Goodwill's dad. Congrats on discovering pegging."
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Hello to everyone in the chat. We've got hello Lee, who has just done an 8-hour marathon of the new Spider-Man game on the Nerdy Up North Twitch channel. So that's
Yeah, I saw some of that.
yeah, in a Spider-Man onesie. So that is going to be one feisty.
Hold on,
bit of
I
garment.
missed that.
You did.
There's no God.
There's clips. Don't worry. We've saved.
There'll be
clips for you.
clips. There'll be clips. Speaking of other daddies.
The lovely Canadian, well not Canadian, nice French person from nice France, as opposed to shit Canada. Damon is in the chat. Hi, Damon.
Hey, what's up, Damon? Good buddy.
Like I said, we've got Christopher Reed. We've got the lovely Beth in the chat. We do have a bit of nerdy
Hey, Beth.
North. Paul somewhere lurking, as he always does.
What's
But
up, lurker?
there is another
background.
birthday this weekend that we need to be celebrating. Whose might that be, Joe?
Whoo, it's mine.
Hey!
Yes.
Hey!
This Sunday.
So what made you decide to get older?
The natural weight of space and time.
Oh, right, okay.
Are you just walking closer to rocks? Is that
Yeah.
what
Yeah,
you
that's
Have you thought
normally.
about walking backwards? That might help.
I wanted to spin the other way around the planet, but apparently they won't let us.
Oh no, Superman only does it once. And then
Yeah.
I always love that thing of like Superman like just has these abilities that he uses once, and it's like that would work. It's like Doctor Who where you just go, that would really help in this episode, but no, couldn't possibly do that again. And you're like,
Oh, sorry,
okay.
fixed point in time, can't do it.
Yeah, that's it. I only had that ability on that one day. Sorry.
Star Trek does the same. Why not slingshot around the shun? Shh.
Shut up,
We
you.
did that in that movie once. No, we didn't. That never
The
happened.
one with the whales. What whales? Shut up.
It is.
I-
When I was rewatching Voyager, I was just like, hang on, how much stuff do they have in earlier seasons that they could use in later seasons, and they just don't.
Or-
It's just like, no, we'll find a different way of doing it.
Or you could just go warp 10 and just get the very handsome EMH to reverse all the sexy salamanders.
Yeah. There's nothing like being a sexy salamander.
I quite like that this is a bit of a tie back to that, where we have a weird
Yeah.
pregnancy between crew members.
Yeah, that's right.
However, Joe
Yes,
does
sir.
have a rather tasty beverage to
I
celebrate his
do.
birthday. What is it?
Indeed, I have a bottle of Canar.
Wow.
I'm very excited to have. I ran into these guys at Star Trek STLV, which is redundant. It's just STLV. But and I saw this bottle. I was like, oh, that's cool as hell. I want that. And I, am employed, and I decided I will get that. So in honor of
I love the justification. I'm going to buy that because I'm employed and get paid money.
Yeah, I have money, so I will buy. I'm really jealous. I really want some of that. What does it taste like?
Ooh, what
I'll
does it
tell you in a
smell
minute.
like?
I'm opening it
Okay,
for the first
okay.
time. Yeah, I'm celebrating my
Zoom
birthday
in.
with my friends in England.
Here.
Oh, it's,
Zoom in if he starts dying.
oh, it's not syrup though.
No.
Oh.
What does it
Imagine
smell
if they
like?
sent me like NyQuil.
You just look at the bottom of the bottle and it just says IHOP.
It's
looks
literally
nice.
just Aunt Jemima.
Yeah.
And it comes. The bottle is amazing, and it comes with a nice stopper, and then you could switch it for. They send it to you.
Lee has just commented saying
Horrible.
that looks like one sexual drink.
It does.
It's
yeah,
next to
yeah.
Aldebron whiskey, Lee, in terms of sexiness and Romulan ale. What does it
So
smell
I'm
like?
com-
though?
Yeah.
It's oh, it has a very nice aroma, very very fragrant of grapes of the north. Probably a nice fervent smell of fragrant happy trees from France and
Shit Canada.
Actually, the shit Canada. No, it's actually Lodi in California.
Oh right, okay, you're fine.
That's what this is. Yeah, this is probably my cousin had something to do with this, if I'm not mistaken. But
It's now canon that France will hereby forever be known as Shit Canada.
shit,
It's just one line on Quiplash, and now it's
And
going to
then and then what's amazing is this actually came out of the Star Trek glass, which I replaced one that I broke. Came from a mystery box. So I was like, wow, that's amazing timing. So let's taste to
Yeah,
you.
let's taste it. Come on.
Let's toast to your dad, and we'll toast to my 42nd.
There you go, Daddy.
Cheers.
Oh, it's good. It's the type of wine that doesn't give me heartburn. I like this.
Really?
Oh, I love that.
How many lights can you see?
Sulfuric taste.
So this
What's
is
that?
a STLV.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is STLV. I didn't get it at STLV. I have an unboxing on our channel, but I got it. I saw them at STLV. I got that card.
Oh, right. Okay.
And then when I got home, I decided I'm going to order that. And then, like, you know, life happens. And then finally, my birthday, I was like, you know what I'm going to do for my birthday? I'm going to treat myself and buy myself.
Treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
See, I
bought myself a lovely bottle.
I was debating the merits of buying it at STLV next year, and then I realised no, because I've probably got to be flying with British Airways, which will explode it all in a million pieces within my suitcase. I'm
It's
still
almost
not.
like you've had that experience.
I'm
before.
still not over my Dorito Thai sweet chili chicken flavour that just combusted.
I think they probably opened the suitcase, took them out, stamped on them, and put them back in the suitcase. They're like, well,
Probably.
can't leave it undestroyed.
You have not seen the claim I've made to British Airways.
Wow.
What property has been damaged? One lock. Okay. One packet of party bag sized Doritos Thai sweet chili. One party bag size of Cheetos extra crunchy. One party. It's just like, I'm not going to get paid for this.
No.
I love the idea that they're like, if you need additional sheets, please attach them here. And you're like, yes, I will.
Yes,
you know, one bag.
Yeah.
Oh.
One Cartier
So do you guys
watch.
not have the sweet chili in
No. Honestly, when I go into a Ralph's or a Walmart, it is like the scene from The Wizard of Oz where they see the Emerald City for the first time, and it's like, oh, and you just link hands with the nearest person and start skipping down the chip aisle.
Oh, there you go.
And just like pouring the trolley in. But yeah, so. Cardassian Canar. I may have to purchase that next year.
Yeah, it's actually very
Genuinely Googling it right now.
I-
I've never needed
Don't-
something
just
in my
just
life.
don't let people know how much I paid for it.
Yeah, let's not talk about
Yeah, because
However-
there's shipping involved. So
However, Captain Joe Dove does host a rather swanky YouTube show that
Yes.
reviews Star Trek episodes, and my only question is, why? No,
it's fun. And I have the amazing co-host Jason Roy Gaston, who's quite funny, humorous,
the
and his
Instagram and
plethora of-
TikTok sensation.
he's a TikTok icon. He's got more followers than Jesus. So literally,
What?
the Jesus guy's only got
Well,
like
still
200
living,
now.
I guess.
Jesus hasn't
Yeah.
uploaded anything in 2,000 years, and I think that's just pure form.
He's gonna
Just on
step it up.
YouTube, last upload, like sort of 2,000 years ago. But, you know,
Yeah.
it's a slow burn.
Shall we have another game
Yeah.
tomorrow? Last online, 2000 BC. Oh. Okay.
No, that's right.
But yeah, so you host a show with Jason Roy Gaston called Captain's Quadrant.
Yes.
Do you want to talk? For those who are new to Trekking Up
Yes,
North,
if
talk us
you-
through it.
Sure. We command all space and time to bring you the Captain's Quadrant with your host, Jason Roy Gaston from Texas, Joe Dove from the lovely, slightly outside of the New York City area, the Star Trekkiest bastard you'll ever
Across
find.
the river.
Across the river. And we have one of the things that we love to do besides talk to you guys, and we bring up your chats in our show, but we love talking about, obviously, Star Trek. But we like to talk about the worst episodes of Star Trek and the thing that we call the agony booth. And we spin the wheel of agony to pick the show that we think is probably god awful and shouldn't be seen again, but we will suffer through it together to ensure that we have a lot of fun every Thursday. And of course, we do the standard current shows. We're also talking Lower Decks, as we spoke about Cave yesterday. And we sometimes talk to people in section 31 and a half because we have questions. So that's the gist of our show. We have a lot of lights and fancy things that spin and bounce, and that's because of the good efforts of our co-founder, original OG host, who has moved on to the Jason Roy Gaston channel and back home to his pop culture spread, Jace. And that's our lovely show. As you can see, very colorful. We love the colors. and we love talking Star Trek. So be sure to join us, have a lot of fun, and live long and prosper.
Where is
Yeah,
it? Where is it?
amazing. And speaking of the Agony Booth show, you were saying before we went that you think that this week's episode of Lower Decks is a candidate for the
There it
Agony
is,
Booth.
our old,
There we
yes, the
are.
old threads, yes.
Sorry,
indeed.
it was next to all the Hawaiian shirts in mankind's history. Sorry.
Oh, nice. Are you planning on hitting up Hawaii next?
No, that's the ironic
Oh.
part.
I see. Joe, I did not realize this that what's it called? The lab is in Hawaii in Star Trek.
The
lore.
Daystrom Institute.
Yeah, I didn't
Daystrom,
realize
yeah.
that. That totally passed me by in terms
Yeah,
of like lore, and I was like,
Right, because as we talked about it, we were like, I was like, I thought that was in space, and it was like, no,
Yeah.
that's the Daystrom space station. This is a
But let's
different.
be honest.
It's like,
Let's
who
be
knew
honest.
that? Yeah.
If you've got an organization that goes, we need to build you a lab, where would you like it? If you don't ask for Hawaii, are you really
Yeah.
living your best life? If someone said
Right.
to
Yeah.
me, right, you've got this company, where would you like the HQ? I was just like, Oahu.
yeah, it's literally like sort of going, oh well, what do you need for your company? And you don't factor in pinball machines and arcade games. You're just going,
I
well,
need
you're
that
doing it wrong.
I need that Street Fighter 2 fam, that's for sure.
Yeah, I need 50 bottles of Kanar. You know?
And a bunch of these Kanar bottles. I'm gonna fill mine up a little bit. Some more. There we go.
I
I'm
said
really
to-
annoyed. I've literally got it, and you can't get it. They don't deliver to the UK.
Oh.
So we might
is
need,
this going to
we might
be a
need to
case?
order it to you, Joe, and then get you to send it to us.
Oh,
don't know
I
how
love you guys.
works
I'll
that
do
way.
it. I'll do it.
Or is this
Happy
going to be a
birthday.
case of me in Las Vegas with a fuckload of bubble wrap in my
Not with how
briefcase?
fucking BA treated your luggage.
I know.
You're not taking the Kanar back.
I don't. It's like PTSD now.
You're just sitting on the plane being like, I could have my headphones and my phone and stuff, but no, I just have the Kanar. That is my hand luggage.
11,000 miles I travelled, and it got lost in the last 300 from Heathrow to Newcastle.
Wow. They left it in the old castle.
They
That's why you guys should watch Captain Squad. No.
I'm still
See,
bitter
they're
about that.
telling
family.
jokes. That's what we're missing, Goodwill.
We do tell jokes just at our own expense, or Tories' expense, or England's expense, or France's expense.
While we're here, fuck the Tories.
Yeah,
Oh.
I think Synoiz. What is Christopher's-
Stanois?
I think
That's
Synoiz.
the sanitized version of me.
I think Synoiz Hot 20 then stopped counting. So he
Oh, they're
doesn't-
talking about my age.
Oh no, Synoiz, you can tell Synoiz's age is by the rings. You have to cut it in half.
Yeah.
Oh.
Any man who wants to open me up and count the rings, you're more than welcome.
But yes, we are here to
That's
review.
literally my Tinder profile.
Oh god.
We're here to talk about Star Trek, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
yes.
sorry.
Yeah.
Where's my notes? We
No,
are here.
I was just saying before though that this is the episode that Joe was saying might be a candidate for the Agony Booth.
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree. I enjoyed it. Last week's episode, I agree. Last week's episode, A Few Badgies More, I would say was probably my least favorite of this season of Lower Decks. This one I thought was more kind of like standard, and it's only dips a little because we're so used to the rest of the series being amazing.
Yeah. Like the first 6 episodes were fantastic.
I think this is the. We said this about A Few Badges More, where if this was the lull, then it's been a good season overall. And then this one came, and I'm like, I sort of disagree. I disagree. I think this is a competent flashback episode to scenes we have never seen before.
Yeah, the
Initially,
flashbacks to non-flashbacks.
yeah,
Yeah, and it's
initially
so
when
weird.
I saw
like,
it,
everyone else is like, it's a clip show, and you're like, oh god, they're wasting time. And then you're like, oh, but they're doing a clip show, but with clips that have never existed. And you're like,
You're
what?
right.
it's a cunning subterfuge at first, because when Tendi says, "Oh, that time we were stuck in the elevator after I'd first joined the," and I was like, "They're going to do the pilot episode. They're going to do the flashbacks," and then they veered away from it for a large majority of the episode, and I was like, "Okay, that's good." I think this is, I would call this an animation bottle episode, where nothing really progresses, and it's about the core characters, and they are trapped in this. This is maybe Shuttlepod 1 for Lower Decks.
That's an interesting take. Yeah.
Yeah, I like
where,
that take.
yeah, where it
Well
just
said.
focuses on the core dynamic, the core 4, no one else is
Yeah.
involved, and well, people are involved, but it's about their friendship. So
Well,
Right.
Shax has one line. It's like-
You guys need
so-
help.
I'm here to save you. That's
Oh,
it.
I only peed once.
But that's the thing. Do you reckon it's an active thing from the writers being like, hey, all of this series, because all the things I've praised this season on is being like, hey, we're going to learn more about the Orions, we're going to learn more about the Ferengi, we're going to learn more about this. And it's kind of talking about other cultures, but not like it's said more about Tallinn than it has actually about the main four. So do you think this was an active thing of them being like, hey, we need to do an episode that's just the main four?
I think
Could
it's
be. Well,
I
I
think
mean-
it's the main four, and then also exploring some of the lesser known, apart from Ta'ana, the lesser known characters that we have, because we've had Delta Shift, we have had
Delta Ship,
Levy,
Delta Ship.
Delta Ship, and we've had Levy. So it's sort of it explores them a little bit, and it rounds off the crew a lot more, which is why I like it. It's we will get into this now as we review season 4, episode 8. Caves. Now, the first thing I've got to mention is when we got the press pack from CBS like to do, a load of images and a nice description. This was just literally the crew explore a cave. And I'm like, okay. And I love that the first thing we get is when they all beam down, when they realise they're all on the same shift together and they're all exploring the cave, where it's just like, oh, it feels like a third of our adventures, a third of our missions are all caves, and I'm just like, is this a dig to Star Trek using Planet Hell? Is this a dig? Because I mean, I've been to Planet Hell, and yeah, fucking hell. I thought it was a nice dig at that. Dig pun.
I think it is. It's the fact of it's a staple of Trek shows where they just go, oh look, we're in some caves and we found this thing. Like DS9 has it with the episode where Kira is, where you think it's Kira and she's trapped in the rock with Odo and all of that lark and stuff. And then you have like so many in Voyager when they go down to planets, and obviously, like you're saying, the original series. It's a staple of Trek, just to be like, what's the best set we can come up with cheaply? Oh, it's a cave.
I've got a little fun fact about cave episodes. Are you ready for this? So,
Yeah.
This is from my awesome tour guide Assad at Paramount. Planet Hell was shot on, I believe it was stage 18. Now, that's obviously it's got a pit, and they can do like underground, and they can do 2-stage planets and stuff like that. This was also used for movies that needed interior shots but with cars going past. Now, they believed that it was cursed because whenever they did movies or in there with cars or everything, people felt funny, felt dizzy, felt sick, and they thought that the stage was cursed until someone realised, hey guys, you are using cars to drive around this stage in an enclosed environment with really big exhaust pipes. Everyone was getting carbon monoxide poisoning within the stage.
Oh.
So it wasn't
There's no
cursed.
ventilation.
They were killing themselves, or unaliving themselves, as YouTube likes to say.
Yeah.
So the trick that they had to learn going forward is whenever you see a car and it's within the Planet Hell stage, they're all in neutral and they're just being pulled. So,
I mean,
Air, I need air.
yeah, exactly.
Does anyone else I think it's one of these crazy things because obviously I poo-poo religion and stuff a lot, but it's the idea of I kind of wonder it'd be wonderful to go back to a time when everything is a mystery because we can kind of explain way too much nowadays, like even Victorian days where they're like all these people are mysteriously dying. I wonder what could be happening, and it's like they're touching electrical light switches with wet hands,
Yeah.
but then no one has any idea what it is, and they're just
It
like
was a ghost.
All the
that's how-
studios,
she must be dead, and it's like no, she's she's like ill.
all the
Oh,
studios I have been to, I have never met a more cursed and haunted studio than Paramount at Melrose. Everywhere we went, he was like, and someone died there, and they believe that the ghost inhabits that to this very day. This is where Marlon Brando walked, and people think his ghost inhabits it to this very day. This is where
Jeez.
Lucille Ball imported cobbles from New York because she missed New York, and people believe that you can hear Lucille going, Ricky, to this very day.
Why did you have the Crypt Keeper as your fucking guide?
Yeah, he was
I was
like,
gonna
Are you sure they were official, or was he just a creepy bastard being like, "Here's where someone died"?
if anyone ever goes to LA, I cannot recommend enough the Paramount Pictures tour because it is so goddamn personalized and so intimate. You only get a handful of people on the tour, like 3 or 4, and they are just so knowledgeable, but they interact with you on like a person.
That's because it's expensive and nobody has enough money to go besides the tourists.
So
The locals
it literally just you turn up and you're like pimp furs. You don't get any money on it.
Captain Goodwill, baby.
Yeah.
he pulled up in
bitches.
he pulled up in a BMW. Get the golf cart.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it was what was I going to say? No, it was a really good tour. But the one downside I did have with this, and I've said this a lot to a lot of people, they do not exploit the fact that Star Trek was shot there for 57 years.
Yeah.
A lot. I think literally they mentioned the voyage home with the tank.
The whales. Oh, okay.
The tank, the parking lot that they use at the tank, the one with the whale.
Yeah.
And the Kelvin verse. That's it. Like,
Wasn't the Kelvin versus a beer factory?
The beef, that was the Budweiser factory, but obviously
It was a Budweiser factory.
bridge sets and stuff were done on.
Oh, the bridge set. Okay,
yeah.
cool.
But it's like you look at these stages, and in every stage, in every studio, they have plaques. So like Warner Brothers, it's like we've got the Big Bang Theory stage, the Friends stage, and this is what else was filmed here. And then at Paramount, it's the same thing. They've got plaques, so it's like this was filmed here, Star Trek Voyager was filmed here, but they don't mention it, and you're like.
I wonder if it could be the same as like because it's not an active property, like it's Games Workshop do it a lot because obviously Games Workshop have Warhammer 40,000 and Warhammer Fantasy, and basically they killed off Warhammer Fantasy, and every time it comes up in conversation where they're like, hey, we need to talk about this big thing, oh, but we don't sell that anymore, so here's the products we're trying to push, where they'll kind of mention like Age of Sigmar and like Necromunda and stuff. And just be like, oh yeah, because we don't want to talk about the stuff where we're not actively making it or you can buy it. Like, because you'd be like, hey Voyager, we don't have that on box set.
I mean, let's not forget Picard was filmed there and in Santa Clara. Obviously, every other bit of Star Trek is in Toronto. That's fine. But it sort of worried me a bit because it sort of made me think, is Paramount really in trouble? Now, we go on about merchandise a lot and why are they not making, like, why is it Titmouse who make Lower Decks producing the merchandise for Lower Decks? Why is it not CBS Paramount? Why is there not a lot of Picard Season 3 merchandise, Strange New Worlds merchandise?
Well, that's because all the merchandise is gobbled up by Kid Cudi.
Yeah, well, yeah. For $600 you could, no. But going to the Paramount gift shop, they still had Top Gun Maverick merchandise, and that was it.
Wow.
Now, you go to Warner Brothers, arguably, yes, Warner Brothers is bigger, same as Universal, but Warner Brothers, it's just like, you like Warner Brothers, we have got Warner Brothers stuff. You like old Warner Brothers, we have got... Fucking Gilmore Girls had an entire aisle still. You've got the Animaniacs, classic Warner Brothers, and stuff like that. Paramount, it was literally Top Gun or some Paramount t-shirts. And I'm like,
that's shit.
But
that's weird.
But you would think like the properties that they have got, including Star Trek, people would make a pilgrimage to visit them. And I'm going to be honest with you, in our tour, it was British people, Belgians, Germans, and one from Croatia, who specifically wanted to visit Paramount. It was a pilgrimage for them because they were classic film, but they were film fans of The Godfather. They were fans of Lucille, The Lucy Show, and stuff like that. And the fact that Paramount sort of don't take advantage of that in LA of all places, that is a tourist trap. It was very puzzling for me because I'd saved all my money to LA because I was like, I'm going to spend all my money on Star Trek stuff at Paramount, and then I was like, there's nothing.
And Joe hasn't even been to Paramount, and he's the one with the fucking canal. Like, damn it.
Yeah,
that's what we
I did go to Paramount, but not for that reason. They have a New York office right by my job, and they had the when Picard season 3 was on, they had the big
Oh, the huge
3D
billboard. Yeah.
yeah, the 3D billboard. And the first time I went, there was like I didn't see it. And I was like, oh, what the hell, man? I was expecting to see this giant billboard. I didn't know how much they cost. You know, I don't advertise.
That was now here is a challenge for you. What is the name of the ship that they put on the billboard? And it's not the Enterprise D.
Sure.
Yeah.
Voyager?
No, it was a Galaxy class because
Oh.
Geordi
Yeah, no,
had
it wasn't
used half of another ship,
Right. Oh man.
Syracuse.
Oh, what's fitting because that's in New York.
Yeah. So what they did on the billboard, and I thought it was an awesome attention to detail. You had 1701D on the saucer, and then on the dorsal spar, the neck, it had U.S.S. Syracuse on it. And I'm like, that is
Nice.
a great attention to detail. To do that on a building board in New York where no one cares, and you're just like, dude, I actually like that. That's
Wow.
So,
Surprising
not
even
to
me
be
who
the
was there
one-
and looking at it going, "Woo, finally. And then didn't see that detail.
While it might be against my religion to do this, should we discuss the episode?
Yeah.
How dare you? But yes, so the lower decks crew, all the Lieutenant JGs, beam down to this cave. Tendi and Rutherford are naturally excited because they want to scan the moss, as you do. Mariner is just sort of like nonchalant about the whole thing. Oh, it's another stupid cave. Boimler is like, oh, caves are quite relaxing and stuff. And then there is a tremor. They get
Well, hold
caved
on.
in.
Before then, we
Oh.
get two amazing lines. We get, obviously, Mariner saying, I hate caves. But then we have Boimler saying, oh, this cave's nice. It's just the right level of moist, which is just the right amount
Only
of moist.
you could note that down.
Which is...
Then what notes
which
did you
I
take, Synoiz?
require
Oh,
one thing I will say about this whole season of Lower Decks, they have had some absolute zingers. They must have been stocking up on zingers for the whole 4 seasons.
What is your
Just-
favourite line so far? Because I know what it is.
that I use in real life. I've literally said this at work. I've said this at work and obviously realized that it made no sense. But it's you don't need to throw up in my mouth twice. Which is, and I absolutely fucking love it.
He
He's
sent
not
me a
my favorite
video.
character by a long shot.
He
but
sent
it's
me a
my
video in the supermarket where there was an offer for mushrooms, and he was like, "You don't have to throw up in my mouth twice."
That's it. My mate Ollie was with me, and he was just like, "What?" And I'm just like, "It's a video."
you don't quite get it, but you will one day.
That's it. But your kids are gonna love it.
I was thinking that. That's hilarious.
See, my favourite line is just "Moopsie." So they get trapped in a cave in, and then Boimler immediately does a 180 and just goes, "Stupid caves." So yeah, the crew has lost communication with the Cerritos.
Hold on, Goodwill. Where's it come from?
Does it play sounds as well?
Does it?
Yeah, that one does. It was custom made. So
Oh, was it?
yeah.
See,
Paramount's
why
not
is that
selling
not
those
being sold by
bastards.
Paramount? That's the merch we want.
Because they want to sell you that giant purple Kid Cudi varsity jacket.
Selling fucking Top Gun Maverick bullshit.
Oopsie.
So yes, the cave comes alive.
It does after Mariner has kicked the shit out of it. And it's like, oh, it's reacting to your tantrum.
Yeah.
So yeah, the moss starts creeping towards the crew.
I love it. Before this, we have another amazing line from Mariner, which is where basically she's complaining that they can't get any signal. Their comm badges won't work because of rocks. And
Yes.
it's like bunch of rocks always beat centuries of technological progress. And
Yeah,
it
that
is.
was
It
a
is
great line.
the biggest plot device in Star Trek, which is that communications just randomly stop, and you're like, why? What is it? It's just rocks.
Do you know why, Synoiz? They don't have
Why?
5G tube coverage like they do in London. That's what they need.
They're working on H. They're working on H plus. When that
Welcome
came
to
up on my
1H.
phone, I was like, can't you just say nothing, rather than just like
Do you know what was really funny?
kissing on my leg effectively?
When I was on the tube, they were like, "Oh, you can just use your mobile phone to pay," and I'm like, "I'm underground."
I have northern technology.
It says E. What does E mean? Is the phone
Extended.
screeching?
It's like, no, I won't use my phone to pay. I'll get a pigeon. I'll get a carrier pigeon.
Yeah,
I'll
and
tie
the-
some money to its leg, and send it off. That will arrive quicker than the
In
signal.
the States, when you get on the subways in New York, once you get to a certain level, especially on the L train, it says SOS.
Oh, wow.
Because
There's
you're
no
on
E.
the subway.
Yeah, not worried.
Yeah, that's right. That's very good. It's because you're on the subway. That's why it says, oh my God,
Yeah.
help!
I was on the subway once. Never again.
Yeah.
Bizarrely, it was one of these things where I was just watching the film Jacob's Ladder the other day, and I forgot like how in America and stuff you have like the subways are sort of multi-layered underground where you can have multiple floors of platforms. The only place where I've seen that otherwise is Tokyo. And it's that idea of just being like, that's crazy. Like over here, we just have one platform everywhere, don't we?
No, we don't.
Really?
Not in London.
Oh, right, okay.
Westminster is
London's have
deeper
everything.
because they don't want some crazy guy called Mr. Fox coming back and blowing up the place.
It's just-
So they have it really really deep in, and you can see like the reinforced beams that they've used for the Parliament because they are
Is it so you
totally
can't
not
bring, like,
paranoid.
gunpowder in? It's just like
Yeah.
we've made it. We have no wheelchair access, so it's impossible to get a cart full of gunpowder.
They've seen
off
V for
from the
Vendetta,
platform.
and they're like, never again. But
We've learned.
The one time I was on the subway, I think it was 2010, and I was in the subway in London, not London, New York, and it put me off for life because this dude came over. Obviously, people ask for money, which is fine. I'm not criticizing. He was like, "Don't worry, I ain't going to stab you."
Wow.
Okay,
Jay.
I'm off the next stop. Where are
Someone
we?
works in
Don't
marketing.
care. I'm going.
Well, you know what you're missing right now, because it's been 13 years since you've been in the subways in New York. They've actually increased their ask with inflation. So
What?
now they're asking for $20.
What?
You have $20. Yeah. Yeah, that happened to me like a week and a half ago because for some god awful reason I had to go near the subway station, and that's where they kind of like, come out of the ground from. And then the guy
Okay.
standing there, hey, I have $20, and then me and my boss were looking at each other like, oh, inflation's terrible.
What I will say about you Americans is, though, I do appreciate your honesty. As there was one on the street with a placard saying "Need money for weed," and I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
the honesty. I ain't getting you any money, but the the honesty,
Yeah.
I really
I-
appreciate.
I probably would. I'm a real soft touch with stuff like that. Like it's in Newcastle they come up and they're just like going like, oh yeah, have you got 20 pence for the metro? And I'm like, it's £5 for the metro.
And
Like,
it's
oh, wow.
contactless.
how many people are you having to talk to about this? And you're just like going, can you just say it's for drugs? And I'll be like,
Yeah.
where are you getting these 20 pence drugs? Asking for a friend.
Where are you going on the metro for 20 pence? 3 feet.
Yeah, you can't even get in and have the doors closed for that much. It's like,
Oh.
maybe on your foot or something. That's like,
Another tangent, good God. So yeah, the entrances are all
Tangent.
blocked. There is no way out, there is no communication. The moss starts reacting. It takes Tendy's boot. And Mariner just goes, tendons, yeah. And Mariner goes, holy shit, it's carnivorous moss.
Yeah.
So
it sounds like a warlord.
yeah. So Tendy
Or
makes
rock band.
Tendy makes
Yeah.
the first reference to the time where they were stuck all together, and Mariner just clarifies that was not a cave, that was a turbo lift. And he's just like, okay.
A random running joke throughout this episode.
But then Boimler remembers that he used Gammonite to boost the signal under the comm badge, and they were like, "Well, how did you know this?" Oh, it was on an away mission when I was stuck in a cave with Levi, and they were like, "You were stuck in a cave with Levi?" Wolf 359 was an inside job, guys.
I have to say, I love in this segment. I love all of the random little things he alludes to, like Hugh exists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a conspiracy that Hugh never happened.
What was it? What was the
And
one
that
about
Wolf
Picard?
395
What was it about Picard that he says? Picard was not a hologram, or something like that.
Yeah.
No, the EMH was not a hologram. I'm
Yeah,
sure
the
it's
image was
something.
not a hologram, and Picard was. Oh, what did they say about Picard? That he was an AI or something?
Yeah.
And it's like the lovely little. But there is one conspiracy theory that I will bring up that we see later. But it flashes back to Creon 4, where it's the away mission where Boimler and Levy are exploring a cave because they've got driven in there by an ion storm. And Levy's just like, oh, why can't we just wait outside? Oh, because these could last for years. Iron storms could last for years, so we need to find another way out. And then Levy starts going on about all these conspiracy theories that he's got. He's like, I don't read the briefing mission. I prefer to look at it with my own eyes. And how many times in our lives
my
and with our
Facebook
family,
feed.
yeah,
Like my Facebook feed.
where we
man.
we get these conspiracists where they're just like, well, it's 5G. As soon as Synoiz got COVID, Joe, I just immediately started saying, I bet his 5G signal is amazing.
Oh, yeah. That was a big thing at the. Ironically, I know Synoiz is probably not going to have these contacts, but at the church, that was a big thing. You know, the 5G. Nobody had COVID until 5G started. I was like, I'm getting paid, right?
I think it's quite interesting though, because what it does is it very much contextualizes like Levi's like conspiracy theories, where basically it's like it's got a bit where Boimler, I don't know the exact quote, but Boimler yells something about like, "Oh, I thought you were just trying to sort of like make the world a bit more explainable so that you didn't feel as like lost in it."
Oh, he
And
says
that's
that to the Bendorians, yeah.
Yeah, and
the
it's
Bendorians.
exactly what conspiracy theorists are, where it's like the idea that guy's like, oh, it's crop dusting, oh, it's like
They're trying to bring
chemtrails.
order to chaos.
I understand the world more, and
Yeah.
therefore I feel more confident about
Right,
stuff.
right.
And it's like,
Earth's
that's
flat.
fine, but
Yeah.
it's not chemtrails, you know? It's like,
Yeah.
So as Boimler is exploring, he thinks that they are not alone. He's getting unusual readings on his tricorder, and Levi immediately goes, "Oh, it's the Bendorians. The Bendorians are here. They're going to do a morality test on us." And Boimler's like, no, it's not the Bendorians. They're in the Beta Quadrant. Why would they be in a random cave on a random planet in the Alpha Quadrant? What are you talking about?
I totally misheard this as well, and I thought it was
Andorians.
Andorians.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
really
I
thought
did
he was
too.
saying
Wow,
Andorians.
that's amazing. Yeah.
And then he was like, oh, they're shapeshifters. And I'm like,
When did that happen?
when's that coming into canon?
I was sat there and I was like, right, they're in the Beta Quadrant. That's Andorians. And I was like, oh, they're in the caves because they are spies and they're getting intel or something like that. Then there were shapeshifters. I was like,
Yes.
um,
Yeah, so I totally misheard that, and then obviously when I was like, "Oh, Vendorians, okay, cool," you know, it's
Yeah.
a totally different thing.
So as they are scanning, they get more energy readings. Boimler follows the trail to the energy reading, and they find a car. And Levi's just like, "Oh, come on, this is stereotypical Bendorians. It is a car that we can use." And Boimler's like, "No, it's fine. It's got a little bit of a charge, all-terrain treads. One of us could just use this to escape." And Levi just destroys the shit out of it because he's like, "Dude, this is a morality test. We are
With
not
the
going to,
Bendorians."
yeah, with the Bendorians, we're not going to fall for this." So Boimler just snaps and gets really nasty against Levi. And basically, "Have you ever wondered why you're the same rank for the last 10 years? No one wants to work with you and your stupid conspiracy theories." And then the fucking Bendorians appear, and he's just like, "Holy shit, it's the Bendorians, where you've been right all along." I love that. I love that he just turns on a dime, where he just realizes...
Boimler turns on a dime all the time, though.
Yeah.
That's like so on cue for him. Like,
I
for
love
sure.
that I love that it turns the conspiracy like meme on its head, where it's this idea of it turns out that actually all of the conspiracy theories are real.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it's not just one, it's literally everything he's saying about his crazy like conspiracies. They're like, "Oh wow, how do you know about that?" And it's like,
I will get to that.
it's just a fun thing where it's like the total opposite of what, you know, the script is, I think.
I will get to that because there is a very, very poignant theory that he brings up that solves a 30-year-old mystery within Star Trek.
Oh, what would that pray tell?
I will get to that. So the
Okay.
next scene, they are being dragged by the Bendorians to a pit. Boimler doesn't know what they are doing. He's panicking, naturally, because it's Boimler. And Levi just says, well, basically, what they are going to do, they are going to tie us together, inject our necks with the pods of their younglings, and make us maintain eye contact whilst these burst out of our bodies. The
You
Bendorians...
don't need to threaten me with a good time.
You don't need to throw up in my
Don't need
mouth
to-
twice.
Yeah.
Daddy. So you don't need to dress up in a Spider-Man outfit, Lee.
Don't get me started. Whoops, I'm gonna Google. Hold on, I just need to Google something. Carry
Yeah,
on.
please don't Google "young man shoots white goo" on camera. The
It's bookmarked Goodwill.
do you know that clip's got like 500 views on YouTube? I don't know why.
Wow.
So But the Bendorians, in a plot twist, are impressed of Levi's knowledge of their cultural practices, and they're like, "You have heard of this?" And they're like, "Of course, I'm on a few subspace forums where we discuss these." Not theories. Not theories.
But no way, he says like, "Oh, well, we just make shit up," and they like, "Oh,
Yeah, shut up.
Yeah.
And then they're really interested, and they're like, "Oh, go get." I can't remember the name they say. He will get a kick out of this. And then
Right, go get Vexlar.
and then it transitions to a buffet of cricket. Now, this is what I'm on about. Levi mentions how the Bendorians planted the seed that warp speed needed to be restrictive because it was damaging to subspace. Referencing
Yeah.
TNG Season 7, Episode 9, Force of Nature.
Look at that.
which is one of the biggest soft. What is it like?
Retcon. Not
yeah,
retcon. It's a resolution, I think.
There have been where they just go, "Oh, here's this massive problem that's going to totally affect Star Trek going on. Oh, let's never mention that again because that actually really complicates everything."
Don't forget,
about the
season
show.
7 was throw shit on the wall and hopefully it sticks.
Yeah.
Like, do what you want.
But what was sort of like the thing is they never mention it again after a few episodes, but a lot of fans sort of justified it by saying, yes, but they got around it because that's why Voyager's warp nacelles fold, so it reduces the damage on subspace, and it's more of a eco-friendly. It is the Toyota Prius of starships because it's hybrid, it's eco-friendly, and
but the problem is that if that was the case, the Klingons wouldn't do it, the Romulans wouldn't do it. You know, they literally it would only be like it's like literally going, "We've reduced the impact on the environment because 4 people are driving electric cars now," and you're like, that isn't going to be enough, you know.
Well, as a hybrid owner, I'd like to say,
he's a hybrid.
But as a hybrid owner, I have to go out and burn loads of, spray loads of gases into the air, just get loads of cans of stuff. And be like, that's it. That'll offset the good.
Listen, drive an electric car, drive a hybrid car. I don't care what you drive,
as long as it's away from me.
You are helping preserve classic cars. So thank you for that.
There you go.
You are helping preserve classic cars. But yeah,
I also like the fact that the Vendori leader was actually
it was Carol Freeman, wasn't it? The voice.
Yeah, Carol Freeman. Yeah.
So she technically appears in the episode.
Yeah, that's like a throwback to the.
She gets her paycheck.
Yeah, for sure.
I was actually going to say these were probably my favorite thing about the episode. I loved the Vendorians. Like, have they ever been mentioned before?
No.
They're totally new thing.
Made it up. Yeah.
But I love them because they're this crazy. Because my big problem with Star Trek is basically everyone are bipedal humanoids because that's the easiest thing to do, and because they didn't really have the special effects to do anything different than that. And I think the only exception is like Species 8472, and that didn't age well.
Still terrifying.
It's still terrifying, but it's graphic-wise, it didn't age well. And so it's quite nice being like, hey, look, Lower Decks can make crazy bird people. It can make sort of like crazy
out of the box aliens.
Yeah,
and it was quite good just seeing something that's totally inhuman, like totally not bipedal, as a character. I liked it.
That's the power of Lower Decks and Prodigy. They can bring these they can bring these other races to life, and it doesn't cost them a dime because everything's being animated.
Yeah, that's it. And it opens the doors for them appearing like CG or whatever in future stuff. That'd be great if they just randomly have another series of Picard or something, and then just be like, oh, look, it's got Vendorians in it now, and we've spent some money.
Oof. So yeah, I was
referring to Babylon 5 there, not Voyager.
But that solves that 30-year-old fan theory about why did they just disregard these speed limits, and it's just like, it was actually a conspiracy theory. It was a false flag operation.
Yeah. I quite like it though. They just be like, yeah, that totally didn't happen. We didn't.
Yeah, the writers went,
speed limits.
The guy coming in right in the next episode is like, what the fuck? We can't do warp. Fuck off.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't even abide speed limits in LA. Why should we do it in space? So Boimler does say that he is glad that him and Levi have been able to put aside their differences and work. The Bendorians immediately say, "Our friendship has been reconciled. Enemies have become friends." And Boimler's just like, "No, no, no." Even though it would save his life, he's still going, "No." How bad is Levi to hang around with when you'd rather be like injected with younglings and have a chest burster? And I'm just like, oh, dude. Back in the cave though, so that's the first of the flashbacks that we do have, which is a flashback to something we've never seen, which again I do like. Back in the cave, Boimler reveals to the crew that he's hung out with Levy since. What he calls him, Stevie Levy. That's what he calls him.
Yeah.
God damn it. He's hung out with Stevie since, and he's even been on the holodeck, and they're just like, "Oh, you have been on the holodeck with Steve?
Yeah.
Without us? Without telling us? You've been hanging around with that cheap floozy, haven't you? Haven't you?
Yeah.
Look at me." Go on, what?
Well, what has she got that we don't?
Yeah, exactly.
So we do see the first fractures of the Fab Four's friendship start to show when Boimler admits that. Boimler, however, does find traces of trigammonite, which, much like gammonite, can be used to boost the Combadge's signal, but needs to be refined. They do determine that if the phaser blast is dulled a little bit, that they'll be able to separate the trigammonite from the rock. They can refine it and then separate it. So Boimler being Boimler, he removes his pants.
Because that's what's needed.
And everyone's just like, you could have just like removed your shirt or anything. It's just, it doesn't matter.
No, it's like Rutherford asks him for his pants. And then he takes it off, and Mariner's like, "Hey, you did that really quickly." It's like, "Oh, we're roommates, it's fine." Yeah. And then like when Rutherford actually does the thing, Boimler's just like, "I could have just given you my shirt."
Oh, was it Boimler that did it? I kept thinking it was Mariner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they were able to refine the trigammonite, and they are separating it. And Rutherford's like, "If we could separate it, we could boost this." And they go, "Hey, Rutherford, how are you able to know this? Like, how do you know this?" And he's like, "Oh, it was when I was stuck in a cave with Ta'ana and our baby."
You had a baby? What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tendi is the one that freaks out the most.
Yeah.
Did anyone know that? Everyone would notice that.
I caught that. Yeah.
You had a baby.
Yeah.
And he's just like, "Yeah, no biggie." As you do. As standard Starfleet practices are, it's no biggie. So yeah, he explains that it was when they were trapped in a cave together on Balkus 9 when he was assigned to Ta'ana to gather ferns because Billups had a swamp rash. How Billups had a swamp rash, where the swamp rash was, we don't want to know.
Where the swamp itself was?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, in those crevices.
Oh god. Moving further, so, do you want to take this bit while I have a drink tonight?
Okay, so what we get is we basically get their away mission where it's
They are gathering this third.
It's the strangest thing. So basically, what was the other character called? The guest character for
we
this
don't get a
slot?
name.
Oh, do we not?
We just get I think they were just a guide through the caves.
Oh, right, okay. Well, basically, their guide just goes, "Hey, cool, yeah, no, this is where we get it." So they basically start reaching into this pond and pulling out this actual weed that they need. And they're like, "Oh, yeah, it's totally fine. The big monster that usually is around here hasn't been seen for, like, hundreds of years." And they're just like, "What?"
The Graphalax.
Yeah. The Graphalax. Yeah, and then immediately on call, it jumps out of the water and, like, bites her head off. Well, no, it basically sort of, like, bites her, throws her around a bit, and then just chucks her away against the wall.
And she lands on a rock and gets impaled.
However, yeah, well, that's it. She gets chucked against the wall, and then then the Starfleet officers, Rutherford and Dr. Ta'ana. Ta'ana. Yeah, basically they chase it off with their phasers, but then when they turn around to check on their guide, they've landed on a fucking boulder, their spike, basically. What are they called? Is it like a talactite?
Stalactite.
Because one of them's the downwards one, and one of them's the other one, and one of them's a monster in Zelda.
Are we getting all Oh, God.
Ooh,
Geology,
Anyone in
are
the
we
chat
going
hot for
geology up north? Let's go.
who in the chat's hot for geology?
Yeah.
That's a
Where are my
lovely
rock
crystal
people?
formation.
It's actually bizarrely, I've got a really good mate who is actually in who he's been in a lot of famous like metal bands, but his actual job is geologist, and I ask him all of my geology questions and stuff. And the amount of times when we've like discussed, like when I've sort of sent him stuff that I've seen on the internet and been like, is this real? Like, is this a real fossil? And he's like, yeah, yeah. Like there were these things the other day. Oh,
Have you seen Christopher's comment? Tights,
What?
tights go down, mites go up.
Tights go down, mites go up. There we go.
Yeah, stalactite.
Okay. No, it's stalagmites. She falls onto a stalagmite. There we go. Thank you, geology daddy. Yeah. But no, all these creatures that I find on the internet where I see pictures and it looks like something H.R. Giger's created. And he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, those are real fossils. Those are real things that people have dug up. And you're like, the past was terrifying.
Yeah, right.
Only,
What else would
only,
have eaten me?
only our wonderful audience could make an innuendo about geology.
Tides
There we
go
go.
down, mites go up.
That's right.
So, Synoiz, do you at any point say to your geology friend who's in a rock band, geology rocks?
Oh man, I thought I was the king of puns. Jesus.
Yeah, I don't think he was ever in charge of merch for them. So I think, otherwise that would
missed
exist.
opportunity.
Paramount, where are you?
Yeah, no, it'll never get done if they do.
Yeah, but before she dies, though, because she is dying, she decides to procreate, procreating via dermal contact with Rutherford. We're all thinking, she's doing the hoingy boingy nasty nasty. No, this race procreate via dermal contact.
I touch you, my baby.
And she dies. And Rutherford's just like, because Ta'ana immediately starts having a go. He's like, what have you done? He's like, I'm sorry. Next thing, that dude pregnant.
Yeah. Quickly too. It wasn't like a short. Like I've heard of short gestations periods, but this was ridiculous.
Have you?
Like
I love this scene, guys, where Ta'ana just does not give a shit, and this is just a routine day for her, where she's just like, "Oh yeah, this race procreates, reproduces via dermal contact. You're pregnant. It's gonna give birth soon. Bite on this boot."
Yeah, bite on this boot.
Yeah.
And he's like, why?
And you can see, even though it's animated, you can see the pleasure in her eyes that she is cutting open Rutherford and getting rid of this bitch. She's like, yeah. And he gives birth all in the space of 60 seconds. Holy shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
for me.
And he's like, hold this while I seal you up. And he
Oh
just
my God.
passes the fuck out. Any man would do that. And I'm just like, dude, is he the second one to trip to give birth in Star Trek?
Yes. Yep, he is.
Second male pregnancy. Well, that isn't the guy with the spores from DS9.
Hashtag
Yeah.
Trip's not dead. Hashtag Trips tips. So that's going to be a thing. You watch this Sunday on the Shuttlepod show, Trips tips. I'm going to put it all over the place.
Oh, all right. I'll join you.
Yeah, Trips tips.
But they might see it wrong. We both do it.
No,
Everybody wants trip step.
just the tip. Trips tips. The oh, Connor.
I think I could do better with Connor Trinier's tip. I think.
Oh boy.
So anyway, yeah.
I'm gonna have another drink.
Rutherford wakes up to see that Ta'ana is struggling to feed the baby. And let's be honest, the mother is Rutherford, as I nicknamed him in the notes. The baby goes to Rutherford. She goes, "Here, just take care of this. I'm gonna go find a fucking exit." And you just see like it's so heartwarming. She's just like, "I don't like babies and I don't like engineers. So you do this. I'm gonna go find her." Do you know who Ta'ana reminds me of? The Doc from Battlestar Galactica.
Oh yeah.
Where he's just
Did he pass away recently?
he did pass away sadly, yeah. But he just walks in, and I think it's the scene where like Laura Roslin, she's having a biopsy, and he's just sat there doing an MRI with a fucking cigarette in his mouth, and he's just like, He's like, well, you've got monster lips. She's like, can you not smoke? What's it gonna do? Kill you? And it's just yeah. That's the sort of bedside manner that like most doctors seem to have in sci-fi.
Well, I mean, most sci-fi is like kind of apocalyptic, so it's like, well, we're all gonna die anyway, so fuck it, you know. It's like, that's definitely where we are.
I shouldn't really be saying this because it is a little bit morbid, but we've done that. Like me and my grandmother have sort of done that because she's just like, I want a pizza. What's it gonna do? Kill me? And I'm just like, this is sad, but it's also kind of hilarious when you have to think about it.
But she died.
I have to laugh. I have to laugh about it, and it's the only way like we get through it. She's just like, I will have this. I think she had a swig of martini. She's like, what's it gonna do? Kill me? And I'm just like, yeah. You sort of just have to laugh about it.
I think that's the thing. It's that's part of facing it. You know, like not discussing it doesn't help with, you know, taking in the gravitas, I think.
Yeah. Speaking of, if you do want to give to our Just Giving page in aid of Cancer Research UK, right down in the description there is our little donate link. So please, if you want to, please smack that donation as well as.
You should. I did. I did. I like.
Yes,
I like helping the fight against the cancers. So
absolutely, fuck cancer. So
that's right.
So yeah,
I'm really impressed by how much money we managed to raise. That was absolutely phenomenal. It was so wonderful that so many people chipped in and that the event went so well.
I'm
proud of you guys.
I'm really impressed that it murdered us for days on end afterwards as well.
If you're watching this or if you're listening to this and you haven't watched our review of A Few Badgies More, the previous episode, it is a mess because we are both ill. We are both tired out of our minds.
Yeah.
It was one of your mess of an episode.
Yeah.
I think it's the closest we get to the agony booth.
It was literally like,
this was not a good episode. We are not in good
that was
mood.
agony booth. Yeah.
It was literally the agony booth because I could not remember the episode afterwards. And I'm not talking the next day. I'm talking about an hour later. I could not remember. Like there was Lemsip, there was cough sweets, there was cold and flu medication, there was more Lemsip. It was.
So what exactly is Lemsip?
It's like cold and flu medicine, but it's like a hot lemony drink.
Oh, okay. We call it Theraflu in the States.
Yeah.
It's like a powder, but it's basically like paracetamol.
Theraflu, totally Theraflu.
It's
That's
like
awesome.
I was considering a NyQuil teeny or a night nurse teeny.
Yeah.
Call it
I was going to do a line of it before this started.
I do have my
card out and be like,
I have my emergency Lucasade Zero in case I do fall back. But yeah, so Taana is searching through. She can't find an exit. Rutherford takes a turn, can't find an exit. This goes on and on and on until the Graphalax appears once more. And it's like, holy shit, and it chases them and they don't know where to go and they get into a cave and they are backed into a dead end with nowhere to go until Rutherford, in his scientific engineering genius, gets his tricorder out and he's recalibrating it. And Tarana's like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's just like, just let me be. Does a universal translator for the Graphalax in the space of 5 seconds. And he's like, we mean you know
Shout out to Hoshi. Shout out to Hoshi. Character who deserves way more respect.
Shout out to Hoshi Sato. I was buzzing when she got a
mentioned
shout out in Strange New Worlds in Those Old Scientists. Those Old Scientists.
Yes. Right.
So yeah, they communicate with the Graphalax. The Graphalax communicates with them, and he's like, "Dude, I was just trying to defend my kid," and they're like, "Dude." So were we. Well, they weren't saying dude because obviously it's Star Trek and no one says dude.
Right.
But
not in California.
Oh, I wish. So yeah, they sort of come to an understanding. There has been a big misunderstanding, and they're like, "We are just trying to defend each other's kids. We're just trying to find a way out." And they're just like, "We will help you. We will find a way out." I love the fact though that the Graphalax picks up the kid by the scruff, headbutts the cave wall with said kid in mouth. And the first time I watched it, I was like, did you just use your child as a hammer?
How else do you use your kids?
Did you guys notice that?
No, I did. I
did, yeah. That section reminded me of a Frasier episode where it was like
Oh.
everybody just misunderstood everybody, and that's why it got all kerfuffled.
Isn't that every
kind of-
Frasier
That's
episode?
every Fraser episode.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It reminded me of a Frasier
Oh,
episode.
no. I recommend A as in a specific one. Oh,
No,
my
no, not as a
goodness,
different
that's-
one. The whole
that's
show,
Frasier.
But-
even the
but-
current one in its iteration on Paramount Plus.
But let's not forget, guys, Fraser is and always has been a holodeck program on a Starfleet vessel.
Yes,
that
that's
is the
right.
great conspiracy.
That's right.
Because we do see Kelsey Grammer as captain of the Bozeman in Cause and Effect. So,
And he's in Lower Decks too.
He is Captain Freeman.
Yeah.
In
Captain
Captain Freeman.
Freeman's Captain Bozeman.
No, Captain.
Bozeman.
What's his name?
Isn't it?
Is
Oh,
he
the
the same
Bozeman's the
character
ship.
when he
No, the
appears in
Bozeman's the
Lower
ship, but the
Bozeman is the ship.
Kelsey
and he-
Grammer's name is Captain.
We have Google for a reason,
Oh,
gents.
for God's sakes.
We
Anyone
do
in
it-
the comments below, or anyone in the live chat, Beth has suggested hot Vimto is my household remedy.
Oh,
Beth,
hot
you need
Vimto.
you need to seek psychological help if you think hot carbonated blackcurrant juices.
Can you
Morgan
no, you-
Batesman.
you-
Batesman.
It's not
Batesman.
carbonated. It's not.
Batesman.
You can get Vimto that's like just like a sort of Ribena type thing.
So Ribena,
Yeah, hot Ribena.
conspiracy.
That's my new jazz band.
All right,
Poor-
Bina.
Poor Joe sat there going, what are these beverages that they are going on about? I have
No,
It's like-
you have to have Ribena.
It's amazing what we're missing out here in the States. It's like all this.
No.
Oh, it's just their
Do you-
flu.
Over there, this is obviously the big problem I have is that, like, you know, I would like to visit America, but it's the idea of I'd be like, where's the PG tips? Where is the Yorkshire tea?
There are places that do it.
Do they have Cadbury's?
No, we
and
have
stuff?
we have a Little Britain in New York City. There's a spot called Tea and Symphony where, ironically, Gil Chesterton from Frasier. We're back to Frasier. Frequents a lot. I've actually run into him. You can see it deep, the dark depths of my Facebook page. But yeah, so I've gotten real good English treats like scones, proper scones,
Yeah,
not
good old scones.
Oh,
And,
Yeah.
have you got Cadbury's though?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
have a
chocolate.
whole store full of
I
Cadbury.
don't think I could survive. Literally, I'd be like, "Mother, come over, bring Cadbury's." Don't
Oh, you
let
can get
PA
it. You can
lose
get it. You can get it here. Actually, Cadbury is the only chocolate I'll eat because their dark chocolate is sodium free. So
Oh, I miss America. Anyway,
You'll get back. You'll get back.
I'm so
Well,
Yeah.
you will be
hungry.
going back.
IHOP cinnamon stack pancakes. So anyway, yes, the Rutherford flashback has been complete. However, oh shit, where am I? There we are. Boimler, no, what is going on with my
Turner.
notes? Sorry, I've clipped the so
I
they
love
are
that I've
fuming.
managed to talk about that. I've managed to talk about that segment, and all I have on my notes is "cave baby" in massive
Cave baby.
letters. That's it. That is the only note for that entire section.
But back
yeah,
in,
it was the most forgettable.
Well, back in the cave on Grottinus. What a name for a planet, by the way. Grottinus. The crew,
Lord Graffinus.
but the crew, especially Boimler in this scene, is furious that Rutherford did not tell him that he had a
Funny.
baby. And he's just like, it was a consciousness baby. It wasn't really mine. It's not really a big deal. Whereas, you know,
It's
like,
like literally just going like Deanna being like, "Oh yeah, I forgot I was a mum for an episode."
Oh yeah, we did
Or,
that.
you know, like sort of,
Yeah.
the amount of times it happens, it's like, "Oh yeah, that horrendous thing happened that I just forgot about the next."
Yeah,
day.
I was raped by Space Light. I remember that.
Christopher has just said, Synoiz, that you should be wandering New York shouting about fruit and nut.
If you wonder about New York, shouting anything, you'll fit right in. You'll
Yeah,
have
to be
nothing
fair,
to
if
do.
I, if I was in
You
New
might
York,
even make a
I'd-
buck or two. I'm going to tell you now.
But if I was in New York, I would be yelling, "I am a fruit and I need to nut." I think that's basically the.
So, yeah, back in the cave.
And still, you'd be fine. And you might make $1 or two.
We've got a whole club for that. Anyway.
Just before I get to, I'm gonna have to tell you this. The greatest saying I ever heard in America was 7 years ago. 7 years ago in San Francisco, there was a street musician on Pier 39, and he was doing a card trick, and he said, "I need a volunteer." And this lovely Japanese woman volunteered herself, And he was
Kiko.
like, do you
O'Brien.
understand? Do you understand? Yes, Keiko. Yeah, no, he murdered her.
Mention her name.
Murdered him and
Mention it
shoved him in
twice now. One more and it'll summon her.
murdered
So
him and
let's
shoved
not-
him in the bay shortly after. But no, he was like, do you understand?
Oh, I was possessed by a par wraith.
But he was like, do you speak English? Yes, I speak English. He's like, right, okay. What I want you to do is get this card and rub it on my nipple. So she's like, he's like, right, put the card down on the floor. Now rub my nipple. She's like, the greatest thing I've ever heard. He went, "You in San Francisco, baby. Enjoy yourself."
Wow.
To
That's
which-
amazing.
To which this lovely lady just went, "Huh." Oh.
Oh, nice. She went in again.
Yes.
Once is never enough.
So
Went for seconds.
I've
Yeah.
never forgot that for like 7 years. It was like, "You in San Francisco, baby. Enjoy yourself." I've also associated it with nipples. So yeah, back in the cave, Boimler is obviously furious that Rutherford never told him he got a kid. Suddenly though, the moss starts encroaching ever closer to the crew, and Mariner is frantically trying to reconfigure the comm badge with the refined trigabonite, and they're just like, Mariner, how do you know how to reconfigure a Starfleet comm badge with trigabonite? Have you been hanging out with Delta Shift? And she's like, what? Maybe. And then we get the flashback to where Mariner was put in charge of an away mission with Delta
And it's
Shift.
a disaster as you would expect.
Yeah,
basically.
because the opening is just literally, she buries, not crashes, buries the goddamn shuttlecraft.
Yeah, and then
Straight
she's
in.
like, "Oh, it's fine. They're shaped like bricks
Yeah.
anyway. What, does it
What do you
matter?"
expect? It's a shuttlecraft in a ship like bricks. And immediately I turned around and I was just like, yeah, it kind of is. There is no
I just love the
aerodynamics.
reasoning. Just that she just destroys a shuttle because she's
There is no aerodynamics about that. Look at it. It is a
Yeah.
brick. Oh, there's a bit of a fin there, but that's about it. Look.
I love
Brick.
it how all this stuff of like advanced technology and other sort of like shows and stuff is all sort of like aerodynamic and things like that, and Star Trek's just like, no, it's a brick. Star Trek's like, yeah, it's just a box with
Unchanged for 57 years.
yeah, that's it.
But I
Perfected.
but I love the fact that they land and immediately she presses a comm badge and she's like, haha, I've got signal. Fuck you, caves.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I got written down. Come to working. Fuck you, Games. It's so good. But see what I mean? There's so many zingers in this series and in this season, and there's so many in this episode.
But the thing is,
that's why I would say that it's not a bad episode.
But if
because
you-
it has so
But
many
it's so heavy on the
takeaways from it.
tropes. It's so
It
it's
is.
the trope show.
but if
this
you,
one.
if you flash back to 6 years ago where Tilly said the word fuck on Discovery and everyone's just like,
I don't
she
think
said the F bomb, and now 6 years later there's a
Now she's not in the
said
episode anymore. Now
Well,
it's
Tilly's
back to
going to
Michael.
return in Starfleet Academy, so
Is she?
Is she though?
isn't she's in Starfleet Academy? I would not see. It would be foolish not to have her come.
Now,
back.
all right, Joe. I'm gonna
Yeah.
pose this question to you.
Pose questions.
Post question of the week. So we know that Tawny Newson is writing the Starfleet
Yes.
Academy spin-off.
Mm-hmm.
My question to you: Discovery is ending.
Yep.
Discovery is, shall we say, the most divisive Star Trek series ever created. Do you think they will either A, continue in the 32nd century with Starfleet Academy, or B, go a more Nick Mayer approach and go 23rd, 24th century?
You think they'll get Kalmini back?
Imagine if they did.
Oh! Can you imagine Chief O'Brien at Starfleet Academy? Because don't forget, he took that job at the
Yeah.
end of Deep Space Nine. So they could go either route. They could go Discovery, and because people love Tilly now. Don't forget, so
Yeah.
many people, every con I've
People.
gone to.
Oh, Brian.
Yes.
God, she returns. Imagine Rosalind Chow just like going, "Hey, yeah, that thing I did 20 odd years ago," and then she's like, "What again? But
Yeah.
didn't people not like me? Oh, what? Oh, okay."
Why would I
she's
want
the-
to? Oh, paycheck. Right. Okay. So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, don't forget she's the big bad in Sweet Tooth right now on Netflix.
oh hell yeah,
And Netflix
Yeah.
has a deal. How
She
many
was a-
string theory it.
she was
I think
Netflix
she
just
was
picked up Prodigy.
she was the mayor in Hawaii Five-0 as well. To which I
Yeah.
immediately went to Synoiz. I was just like, she's in a Hawaii Five-0 and she's called Keiko.
But this is the thing, though. It's like with Starfleet Academy, are they going to make it where? Do you reckon they're going to continue the same style as Discovery, where it's more action orientated and it's
No,
more
no,
sort
no,
of like that, or are they going to go? Oh, Strange New Worlds is doing really well. Let's get the characters that we want from Discovery
Correct.
and kind of put them in a Strange New Worlds kind of vibe.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I think if it's personally, it's going to be Star Trek Scrubs in a way.
That could be good.
And
Could be.
I think if this year has taught us anything, it is that Paramount needs to severely read the room, read its fans, and read what we like the most. And what we have liked the most this year is the 25th century. There has been, even as early as episode 2 of Star Trek Picard, there was always been that demand of a Star Trek Legacy spin-off.
Yeah.
I think
We want to see what happens after. We don't want to go backwards.
a lot of
Yeah,
people of certainly our generation, and I'm comfortable to say that because we're all about the same age.
Yeah, you guys in your
We-
40s, right?
I'm way older. I'm technically dead in gay years.
How ill did I get that I've aged? But our
You got too
generation,
close to the filament, yeah.
our generation sort of grew up with the next generation and sort of accepted that the 24th century was the present day for Star Trek. Like
Right.
that is how it is. And Star Trek Picard cleverly just continued where it left off 20 years ago. And we're just like, oh, we're just continuing. Like this is 20 years later, but it's 20 years in real life as well. So yeah. And I think the might and the might not. The might because that's the appeal, and that's where a lot of fans will be drawn in because hey, it's the 24th, 25th century. There's a lot of familiar stuff. We can bring in stuff like Lower Decks, but it's live action. We can have it more grounded in live action Star Trek. Because this, let's not forget as well, Enterprise, the original plan for the first series of Enterprise was going to be at Starfleet headquarters. So none of the first series of Enterprise was going to be in space. It was going to be Starfleet Command, Starfleet Academy, blah, 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 blah. I think if they did that, it would be brilliant. However, the other hand, I do think it's going to be the spin-off of Star Trek Discovery. It's going to be the 32nd century. However, if they do that, if they don't have the cast nailed, I don't think it's going to survive.
I think it'll be fine. I think for sure they're going to have the cast nail. I guarantee Saru's going to be in it. And the most lovely gentleman I've ever met in my life, other than you guys.
Doug Jones.
And my co-host, Doug Jones.
We were talking about Discovery the other day because basically I've realized that because we've got the final season coming up next year, I'm like, I need to catch up. I need to get it watched and kind of force myself through the stuff that I'm not enjoying. And I was watching it, and me and Goodwill were like going, he kind of holds the show together. Like, he is literally one of the best things about the whole fucking thing. And then you're like, he wasn't in this episode. Fuck you, Discovery. Put Doug Jones and everything.
I'm a big David Ajah fan. I think he lives with you around. I don't know where he lives.
With you. He's in the
This
walls.
is one of you guys, right?
He's in the goddamn walls.
Is that who lives behind the door? Is that
you want about the Dadmiral?
What's that? Oh, the Dadmiral, yeah. And then our friend Michael Chen.
Michael Chan.
Future
If
friend.
Michael Chan does not, if it's the 32nd century and Chan does not get a role, I'd
be upset.
Very upset. Yeah.
All right. Speech.
It was. What was it? What was I going to say? What was it? Yes.
Yeah, no,
we were discussing it, and I was reading an article today, talking about Discovery, and there were like 5 reasons why we think fans never gelled with Discovery. It wasn't shitting on it that a lot of people do, but one of the reasons was we had Doug Jones, who was this terrific actor who sort of has had the spotlight maybe once or twice, but has never really given the time to shine. But the main sticking point for a lot of people was it was Michael Burnham, but it's not Michael Burnham as in, oh, it's Michael Burnham, she just cries a lot. It's they made her unlikable season 1, episode 1, and it took years to repair that unlikability, because they were like, Star Trek is about morality and people doing the right thing and the chain of command. This person just straight up knocked out their captain, disobeyed orders, started a war that killed millions, and then somehow was given a role in Starfleet, was promoted, has saved the universe 3 or 4 times, and is revered as a god by most people, and you're just like...
Oh, by the way, she's Spock's sister.
Yeah,
they didn't need to have her as Spock's sister.
It is slightly, I don't want to say Mary Sue because she's not, but it's that kind of thing of just going, you need to give other characters gifts as well. Like, you need to have other people, but it's the fact of, like, I think it's like Lower Decks though, where it's like, imagine if Lower Decks, but the only character that you focused on was Mariner, and you didn't have the other people there to point out what a failure she is, as in like going, hey, you have all this ability, and then you just deliberately shy from responsibility. So it kind of goes, hey, look, Mariner is badass and good at all these things and like, funny and sassy and stuff. But then like it's tempered by the fact that she's a horrible person and she's kind of useless in responsibility. And, and it only works because you have 3 other characters and a whole cast of people that kind of temper that. Whereas Discovery kind of just goes, oh, well, good, like Burnham knows what to do.
The issue with Discovery is the time jump. And because so many people died in between those time jumps, that's why you have such a hard time connecting with people. Because I really like the robot chick with the blue painted face and the thing.
I loved her.
She gets a couple of lines I've heard. At some point.
Yeah, let's not spoil it. Let's not spoil it for Synoiz, who's catching up. But I think overall though, I think what we can agree on is it's not the actors, because the actors are brilliant, and if given a chance, they would have a terrific ensemble cast, which is, when you look at the group photos, they're like, we're an ensemble, but we don't know that person.
Right.
Given a chance.
They're just in the background on the bridge.
But given a chance.
Even in season 3 of Picard, we got more characters from
like
the
Tavine,
crew.
you were cool.
Yeah. Tavine.
Yeah, Tavine was awesome.
And given the chance, we would have loved them. And it's it's the writing underused everything criminally, and then doing the jump the shark to the future and going, this will fix it all. And it's like, it really didn't, because you still got the fundamental problem of you are still focusing on 1, maybe 2 core characters and disregarding the rest. You could have a lot of episodes where it's like, let's deal with the repercussions of jumping 1,000 years into the future. Let's deal with the mental anguish of that. You have lost family, you have lost friends, loved ones. Let's deal. No, everyone's fine about it. Moving on. And
I went to Earth. There's a tree planted in my name. Look at that. It's like,
it's like even like sort of Voyager went into like depth in episodes where it basically just goes, okay, by the time we get home, our loved ones will probably be dead. Or, or like we might not get back home within our lifetimes. And that kind of had this kind of underlying sorrow throughout a couple of episodes. And Discovery just doesn't seem to sort of go,
they sort of just went,
we'll fix it magically at some point.
It was a captain's log from Saru, and they're just like, the crew's adjusting. Okay. How?
Oh, well, they obviously didn't have families or anything that they cared about back in that timeline.
So anyway, we are off on another tangent there. The flashback for Mariner is that she is with Delta Shift. She's crash landed on this planet. Fuck you, caves. However, they are still out of range. However, they do discover a mineral, which again will be able to boost the good old comm badges signal, so they'll be able to get a rescue party down. However, this mineral is emitting a rather strange chronoton signal, which if you walk forward, you age, and if you walk backwards, you get younger. The Benjamin Button material. that I
Yeah.
nicknamed it in the notes.
Is this the first time we've had a biotemporal field in Trek?
No.
It mustn't be. There must
No.
have been
No.
loads of them, but
We've had a few, but different originalities of the field. Asif, though, from Pura Delta Shift. Oh, great job piloting, Mariner! And his leg is just legit broken in half.
Oh, I found this difficult. I
love-
genuinely.
Oh, of
did
course
get
you
a bit
loved it, Joe.
cringe
I
at
bet
this.
Joe was sat there going,
No, I was literally like, oh, that looked like it hurt.
oh.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah,
I'm too sort of squeamish about
Squeamish?
stuff like that
Mm.
now.
So
I
they
think.
need to
Like,
obtain it. They need to obtain it though. So Mariner, being the head of the away party, goes forward, but cannot go any further forward because she's getting older and older and older. The ensign from Delta Shift, who is very competitive, she's like, "Oh, let me go, I'll do it." And there's this to-ing and fro-ing, and it ends up where they've both broken their goddamn hips, and they're just like, "We cannot go any further."
Just these old ladies like bickering, and it's like the Golden
Yeah.
Girls, just
Yeah.
literally just laying into each other.
But then they realise that Asif is younger and he's a child prodigy, and they're just like, "Oh, he's young as hell. He'll do it." And they're just like, and he's like, "Yeah, kind of one big flaw though. I've got a broken leg."
Yeah.
And then they're just like, "Oh, just walk into the field. It will heal itself. Are you sure?" Yeah, kind of.
It's like, are you sure about that? No.
This is the
A little
worst
bit,
scene.
little bit. It might be okay. It might not.
This is the worst scene for me.
Oh, this is the
All
best. This
the
is the
s-
highlight of the episode. For
All
me.
the
It's totally
celery
funny.
that gets snapped by the Foley artist in this. Oh no.
Yeah.
Because it breaks and it doesn't set and it sets wrong and it's like it's in a knot and I'm like, oh.
And then worse, as he goes forward, it just snaps off.
Oh.
Literally, his leg
Yeah.
just
Can you
snaps
go back
off.
and get my leg?
It's horrible.
And then the other-
genuinely horrible.
And then the other end is just like, "Oh guys, I found some that actually makes you younger when you walk towards it."
Yeah, he was like 12.
So they're dragging, so they're dragging Asif, and he's like, "What about my leg?" "Yeah, I don't want to get old again. We'll just get Tyler to go you a
we're
new
not gonna
one."
get it.
Oh,
Did you notice that his eye was healed too?
yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that as well. So the
Yeah.
patch was taken off, wasn't it? I thought that was
Right.
really. But then they get back to the shuttle, and they make contact with the Cerritos, and they're just like, poor Asaf's just like, "So if we've got time, guys, can we just go back to my leg?" And they just completely ignore him.
Yeah, it's like, just in
Delta
case,
shift,
you know.
Delta shift. Can we go get my leg?
Delta shift, Delta shift, and then Bob is just like, "You chanted."
How dare you? Yeah.
I love that. I love that you chanted with it, and Rutherford is absolutely furious about this. And then they all start arguing, and Tendy's just like, "Guys, can we not argue or anything like that?" And then the cave just flips, and the cave just envelops them all.
Well, all of the moss
All the
moss
moss.
from the cave
Sorry, not the
basically
cave.
becomes sentient
Oh.
and then covers them and then chains them up against the wall effectively. So they get cocooned against the wall.
Sorry, the adequate's moving. Sorry. Oh.
And then Tendy's trying to go like, "Oh well, you know, this is a bit like that time in the turbo lift," and Mariner's like, "Shut up about the turbo lift." Story.
Yeah,
but then the cave.
The cave- I wanna hear about the
actually
turbo-
speaks to them, and it's
Yeah.
like, "I want to hear about the turbo lift." It's like, I like listening.
You will
to
not
your
be free until the green one has told her story.
Yeah.
But really, it's not really that interesting. It's just a turbo lift. And Mariner's just like, "Tell him the story." I love that. This was a nice flashback for me because it was a flashback to after season 1, episode 1, after the rage virus. So I do like the fact that it's just they're all getting drunk, and I mean, who gets drunk whilst talking to people?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not drunk, but I think it's finished.
He's devouring the Canar guys. Don't let
how
it be
many-
fooled.
How many glasses of Canar do you reckon there is? Because the bottle's pretty small. Is it probably
It's
like the
just- it's
equivalent
not-
of half
I
a
would-
bottle?
It is. Let me see it. They actually have a nice little pamphlet here.
Oh, it's going to be American though. I'll have to translate it.
Despite me not having my glasses, I will attempt to read.
I don't understand this. It's like armor, but there's no U in it.
Ounces? What's an ounce?
Oh, that's right. You guys have a different system. It's liters.
It's 13 eagles per cubic land. Oh, right. Okay.
It's 4 stone. No.
Oh,
I had to do that the other day.
Oh, he fights
Something-
back.
Something was asking me what my weight was, and it made me say it in kilograms. And I'm like, I don't know what my weight is in kilograms. Like, I had to go like, okay, stones to kilograms.
I was,
and-
I was saying to Mark when I was in LA, because he was like, "Dude, I've gained 45," and I'm like, "I've lost 80." And, yeah, but I'd never spoken again. But yeah,
What's interesting is they give you a history of the Kanar, and there is, I don't know if you can see it, but the Cardassian symbol is on the top of the box,
yes.
which is really neat.
Why has
So
no one
good.
decided to make Damar Kanar?
Yeah, that's what it should have been.
Damar
He
Kanar.
loves his
Damar
Kanar.
Kanar. Well, I mean, come on, it's in honor of Gul Damar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
60 ounces, so
60 ounces. Wow. So that is
not much. 32 ounces is like large at a soda shop, or
you're large. You're large. It's sort
That's
of
it.
America. Yeah, gonna get fat, getting diabetes. Dang yeah.
diabetes.
Okay. How many is it ounces it's given you?
Yeah.
What was that?
Not
100
liters or something.
What was that? 60 ounces.
Yeah.
Right. Computer. Google. Ounces to.
How much is
I'm doing
60
I have a
ounces of
chart
water?
because I have to work with OZ.
I love that we're just on Google loads of services.
Ounces
How much
to-
ounces is 2 liters? Right, okay. 67 and 2. Oh, wow. So it's 2 liters. 2 liters roughly.
1.7 liters.
Yeah, 1.7.
Of wow, that is. Get that down, you son. That's all I'm going to say for that.
But is that a lot, Goodwill? I'm trying to think.
1.7
2
liters.
yeah.
Right. So for the British
It
audience,
is, it's basically $60 a bottle. If I'm just
for
putting
a
it out
British audience, it's a very large bottle of 7-Up, Sprite, Iron Brew, Cola from Asda and Tesco.
Yeah, because the
Right.
bottle's quite long. Like if I hold it up, there's a base that's pretty thick.
That is a nice design, though.
It's a they did a great job.
there. They
of-
literally just make it look like it's from the episode, and that's what I
yeah,
love
it's a
about
total
it.
replica. It's amazing. And
When
I-
I am over
I don't-
there, just for Synoiz, I'm going to demand someone has a Sluggo Cola.
Yes.
oh wow, yeah.
There
you go.
Cola
Sluggo
of the
Cola.
Galaxy.
So I drank up to the TM. So, and then that's that much.
I
gone.
drink up to that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so yeah, Tendi starts telling the Moss about the events of the first day after the first day on Cerritos when they got trapped in the turbo lift after a good old night of boozing down at the local bar. They all get trapped in the turbo lift, which is still.
I love the Boimler when they're getting in the turbo lift. Like Tendy's just like, should we really be like getting drunk when there's like, a massive thing happening? And he's like, oh no, it's only, we won't get another major disaster until like 5:15 or something.
Yeah.
That's the idea. No, we've got time until the next horrible thing happens.
And then they get stuck, and Boimler's just like, oh, they'll have it fixed in no time. 2 hours later, and it's
Yeah.
and then the one thing I didn't like when they were like they were playing it was their version of Horse where it was just tag, and they were throwing the socks into the ring, and Mariners lands on Boimler's nose, and you just hear, and I'm just like, ugh. Whoa. And then he sniffs.
Oh.
Ugh. Yeah,
He
definitely didn't
loves
like
the
that.
mucus design.
But this was, no. But this was I think out of all of them, this was a rather touching scene because it's Tendi who was apprehensive about being the only Orion on the Cerritos, feeling like that she's immediately accepted and she has made friends for life. And the last thing she says before Shax appears is, "I'm glad I'm friends with you guys." And I'm like, oh, it's absolutely
Dude.
yeah. I'm here to rescue you.
Yeah, that's it. And then Jack just opens the door and screams at them. But I like that this was again turning something on its head, like the conspiracy theorist earlier,
Yeah.
where it's the fact of it does the whole like, oh, this is going to be great, we can totally survive in a lift, and then does like 2 hours later and they're having fun playing games. 3 hours later they're having fun playing games. 4 hours later they're like chilled out.
They're
and
not
sort
at
of
each
on
other's
file.
necks, which is
Yeah,
brilliant.
and you're like,
Right.
this is the total opposite of every other lift like scenario or episode that isn't
Except
Picard
the one
with those
with Picard
annoying
and the
kids.
kids.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
like
there was
oh, that one there where it's like, why didn't he just put them under the lift or just be like, yeah, climb on the top? No, no, fuck off.
there was more members of there was more members of the Nerdy Up North team, Joe. Don't worry about it. We just ate them. So
we got stuck in a turbo lift and the rest of them were gone.
delicious. So the cave is very touched by Tendy's story, and the cave basically says, "I've never had friends. Would you consider me a friend?" And Tendy's like, "Dude, we came down here to study you." And so go on, Joe.
No, go ahead.
No. So so he agrees to let them go and study him or them or her or whatever.
Whatever it
Then
is.
we should study the
They, them.
moss.
Sounds good. Study the moss.
Only if they continue to tell stories, and they're just like, dude, we've got so many. Like that one time we were trapped in a cave and we met ourselves, but it wasn't really ourselves and it was the aliens. And then it's all revealed at the end that it was the Bendorians again doing yet another morality test. And they're just like, shall we tell them that we can? Should we just like remove the dampening signal? No, let them enjoy this a few minutes more. And I'm like, oh, and you.
I love that this episode just created a new race, like the Vendorians, and then just made them into the, like, it kind of fleshed them out, like, quite a bit for, like, you know, where they just randomly appear and give people a morality test.
No, but it makes me wonder if all cave issues in episodes are all related to the Vendorians.
Ooh.
Because you have the cave where Kira Nerys gets stuck. You have the worst Star Trek movie where they get stuck in a cave for a bit with Picard. It was romance in the cave, Insurrection.
How dare you?
That's my least favorite one. I'll die on the hill for Nemesis over that one for sure.
In a world of Final Frontier and Into Darkness, you dare shit on the mighty Insurrection?
It's Insurrection. Star Trek Big Erection.
They stretch someone's face just for that movie.
Yeah.
It was a difficult one, though. Like, Insurrection's not good.
It's not.
It's not good. It's not the worst, but it's not good.
Oh, it's the worst.
Are you telling me you did not enjoy the fact that a shaved Riker controlled a massive Sovereign-class ship with a Logitech flight simulator joystick from 1998?
Yeah, that was weird. It reminded me of that ship that exploded looking for the Titanic.
Yeah,
that's what it was, but in space.
But the guy had a beard, and that's why it didn't work.
Yeah. Did he just bring up a bad memory, Captain?
No, it's like,
is it too
It's a
soon?
realization.
No.
You're the one
Too
going to
soon to mock
Portugal.
millionaires
You're the
dying.
one going back to Portugal, Joseph.
Yeah, I'll be there again. Yeah.
Oh, I bet you, with your spade. So, we discussed this before. Poor Joe, he
Look
doesn't
what
know
I
what we're on
found. Anyway, moving on.
What's this single? Don't you forget about me. Okay. Book deal. What's it?
Oh yeah, right.
Sorry. Anyway, don't you forget
about me when you walk on by.
How can milk?
Will
So anyway,
you call on it?
we discussed this at length before we went on air. When we were having technical difficulties with the adequate systems.
I thought you said tentacle difficulties then. I was like, oh,
Well, yeah, with a
hentai.
surprise. We just wanted to test how you were, Synoiz. You passed.
The Japanese one.
Yes, yay!
Did you see? Did you see the meme today on the Nerdy Up North community? By the way, guys, if you're not a member of the Nerdy Up North community, please do, because you get to see white hot memes that people like Lee post, where it's a scene between Jadzia, Odo, and Kira on the bridge on the command center, and Odo says, Jadzia says something, and Kira goes, "Oh, it's okay, tentacle senpai master."
Oh yeah.
And Odo
She's
goes,
like, "Don't say that."
"Kira, I told you not to tell me that in public." Sorry.
What?
Yeah. And you thought Phil the Spoon was bad. So
Stop ruining my things that I like.
Don't ruin Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, don't make.
look, Garrick ruined Bashir. It's canon.
Oh man.
Build a spoon, Doctor.
I love Garrick. See, that's why Deep Space Nine lasts so well. A friend of Garrick, in everyone's mind. All Trekkers, I believe,
I'm telling you.
look back and say, you know what, Deep Space Nine was incredible. Yeah, one of the best ensemble casts.
I'm telling you now,
Yeah.
I'm going to put a bet. If I ever see Andrew Robinson, I'm going to get him saying on video, "Fill the spoon, Doctor."
No,
Ah.
don't you dare.
He'd be so down for it as well.
No, he would. He's
If
a
I
very
explain,
cool
yeah,
dude.
if I explain it, he's
Yeah.
like, "What do you mean?" And I explain it, he'd be like, "Oh hell yeah, yeah, press
Yeah,
the
he'll
code,
do
press
it.
the code,
He's
let's do it."
fun.
Yeah,
He's so, like, when I met him in Vegas, he was so cool. Like, you know, they always say, don't meet your heroes. That's a lie. Like, you meet Andrew Robinson. He's worth it. And we were talking about everything. And he was like, I'm not really supposed to say this, but, you know, I'll give you like Iggy's and you'll understand. And it's like, oh, yeah, I do understand.
I've always maintained that when I meet Connor, I'm going to say I have got frosted tips because of you.
Oh,
Just see how awkward it makes him, poor little soul. So yeah, we were discussing before we went on air about how this was. I sort of saw this as a bottle episode for Star Trek Lower Decks. It wasn't as bad as A Few Badges More, but it was a bottle episode akin to Shuttlepod 1 from season 1 of Star Trek Enterprise. I don't know what are your guys' thoughts on this episode. I'm going to go to Joe first.
well, I know.
Yeah, it should be Joe because like Joe was the one who was saying he didn't particularly like it. So
I
that's
wasn't
what
a
I'm
fan.
interested in.
Yeah, Jason brought it up best yesterday, where he was like, "This was the Clerks cartoon show episode 2, where they do."
I love
yeah.
that.
Yeah, where they're
Episode
doing
2 was a flashback of
It was a
episode
flashback,
1.
and it's the second. Yeah, and it was like, "What? You doing a flashback already?" You
Dude,
know?
that was only last week. What the hell?
yeah, exactly. So to me, it was like one of those like, do we need flashbacks? Like, I'm so invested into this mysterious ship that's just coming through space and
They
destroying.
didn't mention it.
And they didn't
Yeah.
even like have anything going on with it. And that was a big poo-poo for me, where it was like, all right, I have invested so much. We have a poll right now on the Captain's Quadrant, which is Captain's Core on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, where we're figuring out what is the species in behind that ship, and is it a team up between two alien races to kind of just, you know, do well and take over. And Jason is in the mindset of it's the Packlets. And I'm like, oh God, no.
We've said this, yeah. If they do that,
Hopefully
it's going to be
not.
the biggest fucking sigh ever.
Yeah.
And I'm of the mind of it's the Breen because of some of the designs of the like the kind of the way the ship is face forward. It kind of
You
has
know
those
what?
like squarish, rectangular green Breen.
It would work amazingly if it was the Breen, because this whole season has been like, hey, let's fill out races that haven't really got their time in the sun yet. And the Breen, wow, they need more time in Trek. Like, you know,
Yeah.
and they're a race where I don't think removing a bit of the mystery will damage them.
No, not at all. We've seen
Okay.
them once in Lower Decks, but that was it.
Okay. First of all, two things. Mark Anthony asks, how's the Kanar going down?
Oh, it goes smooth, no heartburn.
Smooth
It's
like
delicious.
Damar during a meltdown in season 7.
Yeah,
Does it go down easier than me?
It's quite lovely. Like I said, it has a fragrant taste, bottled in Lodi. It's heirlooms, and Kanar has formed a crucial part of the regeneration and union of reaffirmation of values and mutual aid that underpin the contemporary Cardassian culture. Remembering the past and looking forward to the future, we continue to raise a glass of Kanar for Cardassia. So there's like even like a whole little story that's written on here. It's fantastic, and I love the taste. It's like one of those wines that you enjoy. So this is going to be probably a monthly thing, because I know now that it's open, Teddy's handler is going to come home and be like, "Oh, you opened it."
We're gonna have to have you as a Kanar mule, I'm afraid, Joe. We're gonna,
You
because I need
you guys
some
want to
of
meet me in
that.
Portugal for some of this Kanar? Yeah.
That's it, go on. Give me the Kanar.
A secret
love it,
rendezvous in
the police
Portugal
are
is
just
not
like-
something that the police want to hear right now. So
Yeah.
I have
raw martini.
no. I did
What, you
not.
okay?
I did not gulp raw martini. At the thought of Synoiz
I
going
shouldn't
down.
need to tell you
smooth.
this, but swallow Goodwill.
So on the Captain Quadrant's on X, Twitter, Elon Spaff page, the poll is Who do you think is the big bad? Who do you think is behind the mystery ship? We have the Breen, the Pack Legs, Pack Legs,
Pack legs.
Pack Legs.
We got pack legs at home.
The non-union Mexican equivalent. The Ferengi, or the Whale Probe.
Yes.
I like
Any
this
other
answer.
show, I would be like, what a stupid idea.
That would
but
tie
it's
into
Lower
season
Decks.
4
Yeah.
and the poster. Wow! They really want the Whale Probe. Holy shit.
Really? That's winning?
Yeah.
I didn't even look at the polls.
It's like when we put fucking Keiko O'Brien on our poll.
Yeah, I'm kind of I am kind of disappointed that it's not Keiko O'Brien on there, and trust me, there will
Give
be.
me.
Yeah. The next poll will just be Keiko.
What could it possibly be? And it's the same option.
But to throw people off, the fourth one will be Miles O'Brien, and then in brackets Keiko in Miles's face.
No, it'd be
geez.
no, it'd be Miles O'Brien's wife.
Yeah.
That'll be the option.
Rosalind
Molly's
Chow.
mother. You're like, wait, this
Yeah,
is the
Russell
same
and Chow. Yeah. No, but what's the number on that? That's incredible.
66%.
Wow.
66%.
That's incredible. So the whale probe, because that would make sense because you have the whale probe in the intro.
You do, and
You
it's
have-
season 4, and the
It's
poster
season 4, and
is beautiful.
It's
for
season
this
4.
season.
Yeah, it's one of the best looking ones that they've done so far.
So, Synoiz, what is your opinion on this week's episode?
I'm gonna say I like this episode. Like what I was saying is it's not a standout one. It's not an amazing one, but it's not a bad one. It's like this is the if all of Lower Decks was like this, it would still be a good show. It's just we've kind of been spoiled this season. But the fact that we've managed to talk about it and laugh about it and enjoy it so much is testament to the fact that it's got great ideas and it's got great fun stuff in. It's what I love about this Lower Decks is the world building. Like, I think the world building is like, my favorite thing. And what do we get in this? We get loads of random new races. We get we get the, what are they called? The Vendorians.
Bendorians.
We get the what?
Bendorians.
Is it Ben?
It's
I
like-
thought it was with a V.
It's like Bendorian. It's like Bendover, but with a
Yeah.
Dorian instead of a Dover.
Oh, I thought it was Vendorians. I wasn't sure. I
No,
hadn't got the
they'll be
subtitles
in
on.
next week's episode. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, these are the
No.
Vendorians, and then the Andorians.
And then the
But no, but it's
Zendorians. What?
But we got like these great new races, great bits of lore. We got some nice goodness, and we got character development. Because even though it doesn't feel like it, we still kind of got to see how the relationship between the 4 of them has got a bit strained because they're all going on different
Yeah,
ways.
they've been
But
promoted.
also-
And, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So they're all sort of spreading out and stuff now. But it's also the idea of like, I forgot what I was going to say. It's-
Oh,
But yeah,
the power has just flickered.
I know. Sorry.
Oh.
That made me forget what to do. But yeah, it's the idea of the character development of how their relationship has changed, but also quite wholesome. I think.
Yeah.
I
I
like
think
it.
their relationships change with their promotions because they're not lower deckers technically anymore.
Yeah.
They're junior
We
grade
have where
lieutenants.
Rutherford and Boimler like live together now, and
Right.
whatnot, and then the thing, and it's great that we've kind of got like all of this character progression, which kind of feels like more than we got in Discovery with some characters, and it feels a bit weird that we're like, hang on, we know Rutherford and Tendy's relationship seems to have gotten more attention than, in a comedy show, effectively than other stuff. But
it parallels.
I really like this. It wasn't an amazing episode, but I do like, and I didn't realize until we started talking about it, how much I like the idea that it's a clip show when the episodes didn't exist.
Yeah. It also parallels real world relationships that we have with high school friends, college friends, university friends, where you're just like, we're going to be friends forever, and then you move on, and then you just you don't do it immediately. You very slowly lose contact. And
Unless
life
you're me,
gets-
I'm still doing a podcast on another channel with my buddy from college, 23 years in.
Oh my God.
Yeah, see, that's it. It's
Yeah.
quite great though. When
Goodwill's like, really? You tolerate people that long?
I speak to 2 people from my school. One of them, she has been a friend for 25 years, which is
Is that your wife?
No.
25 years of
20,
friendship.
25 years of friend. No, 3 people actually, because I actually work with one as well, and it's weird because you have all these friends at school, and then you just slowly lose contact, and it's sad in a way. And this sort of parallels that. Hey, we worked in this job, but I've been promoted and you've been promoted, and now we don't see each other as much. And we see that at the beginning of the episode where they all freak out. They're like, "Oh, we're all working together. It's lower decks all over again." And then the fractures start to appear where they're just like, "Well, you've been on an adventure without me, and you've done this with Ta'ana without us," and stuff like that. It does happen. And you know, I will get friends. I mean, I have a friend who was like, "You're going to America? You're doing the same trip that we did?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
It's not illegal for everybody to go to America.
That's it.
I'm going back.
Despite what you hear from Texas, we do let people from other countries.
But it's
Well, we
but
give them a 5-second head start before we shoot him. So.
yeah. It's all right. He doesn't watch my shit anyway. So it's I don't care. It's but it does parallel that, but it's heartwarming to say, yes, people drift apart, but they can find a way back.
Yeah, I mean, I have one friend that I've known since elementary school, kindergarten, actually. I don't know what you call it in UK.
Well, I mean, we call it we
Depends
call
where
it
you go, because
nursery.
you have nursery, you have first school, you have middle school, or you just have
Kindergarten.
school and then primary school, and there's loads of different names.
Yeah,
Could be an
kindergarten.
academy if it fails badly.
Oh, wow. Well, I have a buddy that I've known since...
Thanks, Tories.
I have a buddy
Let's
I've
make
known-
schools for profit.
Special
That'll go
measures
well.
means you're doing
they're
well.
bleeding money, are they?
Yeah. We do that, too.
Anyway, Joe, go on.
Yeah, I've had a buddy, Mark, for, oh my God, 1986.
Wow.
So none of you were alive back then. No,
I wasn't even willed into existence back then. Wow.
There you go. So yeah, and he moved on, and he's no longer in the same state, but we'll text each other around each other's birthdays. Hey, happy birthday. Hey, happy birthday. He has a yearly barbecue. I'll venture out there about 3 hours or so. And it's like we never skipped a beat. So you have those friends too. That's like you part from them.
Yeah.
And then you come back together, and it's like nothing has changed. And you guys are the same people.
I have a friend like that, and I'm gonna have to give her a shout out. Amber, who I worked with, and this is how stupid it is. Like, we only worked together for 2 years, but it's one of those friendships where you just immediately click, and you can not talk to them for years, and then immediately go back into the same routine, and it's wonderful. And she does watch everything that we do. She watches everything I do. She's really supportive. She's just very quiet in the chat. I know you're there, but hello, Amber.
If you're there, Amber, I just want to let you know, in America, that's the 5th most popular stripper name. Thanks.
Wow.
Is it?
So,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on the stage, Amber.
how do you know this? Anyway, so
How much money have you
watching
lost to
Sopranos.
Ambers over
but
the
it's
years?
but you do get like I said, I mean, I knew Alison for 25 years. My friend Andrew, who I was just talking to today, strangely, I've knew him since 1996, so
That's a long time.
coming up 28 years, and we can go years, and I'm talking long periods of time. And then we just fall into that same routine. Like, we were talking about Metal Gear Solid today, and he's like, dude, I remember like 1999, we were sat around your house, we were having like lemonade and ham sandwiches, and we were just beating the shit out of Metal Gear Solid. And I'm like, it's weird that the tiny little things that you remember from decades ago, and you're just like, that's what friendships are built on. It's having that fun. And this episode is sort of like, you've been through, as Kirk said in A Wrath of Khan, we've been through death and life together.
Yeah.
And we are still there for each other no matter what, and no matter how, far apart we are. And it's sort of the inevitability as well of Star Trek Lower Decks. They were all ensigns, they are Lieutenant JGs, but let's not forget, in Starfleet you don't all stay in the same place. If Boimler wants to become a captain, he will be the captain of his own ship. If Mariner wants to go do what she does, she'll be somewhere else. If Tendi and Rutherford get together or go their separate ways. They will all be on different ships. It's sort of cementing the fact that if you can get over this, you will get over everything that comes in the future when you are apart, and you will still be friends when you are apart.
Right. Yeah, so this is still an agony booth for me. No. Wow, that was so heartwarming. Let me
No, yeah, I think it's true though. It's like when the fact is, this is the stop and check of the season.
Yeah.
This is the whole like, hey, we've had all this, we've had all these crazy things going on, we've got this ongoing plot, but then how are our main four doing? That's kind of how this episode
It's not
feels.
a filler episode. It is a bottle episode, but it's definitely not a filler episode, because it's like there is progression, but it's progression between the interpersonal relationships of the main four.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Fleet Admiral Sherwood, Mark Sherwood, my good old friend from Twitter or X or whatever Elon wants to call it.
Yes, I know.
Do you guys think that the end will be when they all become captains? If we continue supporting Lower Decks, because Mike McCann has indicated, especially after the debacle of Lower Decks that we have faced, that
you mean Prodigy?
Prodigy. That we need to support. That martini has really gone to me.
Yeah, it's good.
We need after the debacle of Prodigy, where it was cancelled and then thankfully picked up by Netflix. That
thank you, Netflix.
We need to support these shows on their streaming platforms straight away and get our friends to watch straight away and rewatch and watch, because the streaming structure, as it's been explained by Netflix, is if a new episode doesn't perform well or a season doesn't perform well, it's dropped. It could have had the loads of viewers over the space of a month. It could have had like millions and millions, but if it doesn't perform within that specific time frame, it's dropped. You only have to look at the cancelled shows on Netflix, like 1899, which was highly critically rated. Loads of people loved it, but because they soft released it, didn't make a song and dance, and no one picked it up within the first month, dropped.
Yeah.
Prodigy,
after Squid Game, it's been a hard time for a lot. Yeah.
Exactly. After Prodigy was highly reviewed but barely promoted by Paramount Plus, they dropped it. And then it's sort of like they've seen the massive fan outpouring and they've found it out on Netflix, have gone, well, we'll give it a try. But again, when it goes to Netflix, you watch it day one. You watch it day two. You put it on repeat. You need to do, until they change the way they monitor their ratings. And I mean,
it's too easy for stuff to get buried on Netflix.
Yeah.
Like I'm a busy person, and the fact is I'm just like, oh, I'll get round to that eventually. And then and I haven't even got round to it, and it's got told that it's been cancelled. And I'm like, okay, well, that's a bit of a quick decision there,
But then you look at
many views.
If you look at people like me and yourself, Synoiz, where it's like, I've got a backlog of shows, I really want to watch it, but then it's the anxiety of, if I don't watch it, will my view count and will it be cancelled? Because not a lot of people like myself have watched it, because we are far too busy living a life.
Wait, it's not a problem with us. It's a problem with, like you say, the way that they determine whether something's a success or not. Because the fact is, if they don't promote it or they allow it to get buried on their platform, and then they go, oh, well, we're only going to measure the amount of views it's got as a metric, then, that's a stupid way of doing it,
Well, don't forget that the reason why Discovery was canceled wasn't because of the divisions of the fandom, nor the ratings. It was it was canceled because it was so expensive. It's the most, I think it was like $1 million an episode to produce that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because Strange New World.
The problem is all the stuff I complain about. All the stuff that I complain about with it is probably the stuff that costs loads of money as well. So I'm just like, could you just make the show I want and save loads of money? That would be great,
Well, that's why they said, hey, take a look at Strange New Worlds. We're going to make the show you want, but save you a lot of money.
The musical episode, obviously we haven't spoken to you about the musical episode, but it was the idea of, the thing I loved about it is that there wasn't a big song and dance. There's literally one number where there's like dance routines and stuff, and everything else is literally just people standing in rooms singing. There's not really that much going on. And again, it's cheaply done, but it's like this. They've grounded it. I love the fact that Star Trek did a very grounded musical, and I'm like, that's great. That cost a lot less than a big hurrah kind of thing. But
And who
just
could forget
good.
that K-pop Klingon band? I mean, come on.
The
Return
problem
Those
of
gold outfits.
the problem they had is it was the most expensive Star Trek show to make, right? That's it's been well established since 2017 that it was there was a lot of money.
Very expensive.
However, the heritage and the main appeal of Star Trek was they could tell these fantastic stories, build these wonderful worlds, develop these characters that we love and still love to this day
In a fucking cave.
with a shoestring budget.
Right.
And Doug Drexler said it ages ago, and he was, because someone was talking about it about Discovery, and he's just like, if we had that budget that Discovery has back when we were making DS9 Voyager, we wouldn't have made as good as episodes as what we made, because it's sort of with physical sets as opposed to CGI, the world feels lived in, it feels worn, it feels warm, and it feels natural. With Discovery, it's just like, we've got these finicky suits that do an Iron Man thing, and we've got this, and we've got this, and it's like, it looks nice, and it's very of the time of 2010s, 2020s sci-fi shows, but it doesn't feel like how Star Trek feels. And I think with Picard and Strange New Worlds, more Picard because they brought in the old guard who knew what people wanted. It's sort of like, you don't need that. You don't need massive AR walls. You don't need loads of CGI. We can develop these props at half the cost. We can make it look real. We can weather stuff. We can... Yes, you need a view screen, but we can do it in a way that makes it authentic. And I think it lost its way. Disregard everything we've mentioned about Discovery. I think having that money made it worse because it made it look nice. As weird as it is,
just think about Red Dwarf.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Yeah,
as soon as they got a budget, and you're just like, oh, you've totally missed what was enjoyable about this. The idea that the promenade is a physical set in DS9, and you can see people moving around. You can see that is just a bit of glass with some things painted on, and they're just going, oh, that's a computer, and you're like, it's not, it's just a bit of glass, but still. But it's the fact of Discovery is like going, look at all of these moving parts and look how fancy this is. And you're like, yeah, but what are the characters saying? What are the characters feeling? What are they doing? And instead it's like, let's have another fight scene.
Fleet Admiral Sherwood, sorry, just before, because I need to get this comment in from, bless him. I really truly don't get the hate for Disco. I really enjoyed it.
I did too.
What do you all think about the potential for Star Trek Legacy and what I'm really wanted to give me all Galaxy class ships and space? We want it. That's the
new hashtag. Every time you tweet, every time you put a YouTube video up, the hashtag is Star Trek Legacy.
I know things, but I can't say. I can't say.
We're very excited for Legacy.
But with Disco, it's not that we hate it. And if you've been listening to our earlier segment, it's not that we hate it. It's that there are fundamental flaws in writing, direction, CGI, money that sort of, it took it away from fans and it alienated fans and it made it not feel like Star Trek. Trek is good Trek. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. And we are not the gatekeepers where they're like, oh, we can't do this because it's not this. Shut up, right? Everyone's allowed an interpretation of Star Trek. Let's be honest with it. It just wasn't. It was very, for me, it was very poorly written. And I won't go any further than that because Synoiz is watching through. But there are the only times in Star Trek that I have gone, for fuck's sake, is during Discovery. And that I am not shitting on anyone in it.
Except for that second season with Control. Oof, that was amazing.
Yes.
But it's the idea of, it's like, there's nothing, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just that it's not what we're expecting. It's not what we sort of enjoy about something. And to me, this might be the most British thing in the world, but it's like when you're a kid and you got this sort of cereal multi-packs where it had like 8 little mini boxes of cereal, and there was always one or two that you didn't like, and you're like, oh, so I bought this, and then what am I going to do with these? Like, oh fuck, And so having the Star Trek universe where you're like, oh great, oh, but I don't really like this one. I can't really watch that, and the problem is because all Trek has been like my thing before then, I can enjoy all of it. And so it feels weird having a bit of the franchise where I'm like, oh, let's not put that on. And
Yeah.
it feels a bit weird when you're so used to just loving the whole thing.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with mystery box versus episodic.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing is based in a story. This story is going to be an arc for the whole thing. It's like one big long movie. And I don't think
like
fans are
DS9
expecting.
DS9 had long arcs, but then it was
Right, but
basically
they still
still
had-
episodes. But
Right.
there was like stuff where like with Lower Decks, where we've got this alien ship that's going around stealing ships, and that's kind of in every episode, so we know that there's an arc, but the episode's all about different things. Discovery was like, here's one long continuous plot for 10 episodes, and if
Right.
you don't like it, there's 9 more to go. And you're like,
Yeah,
oh.
exactly. And I think that's probably the biggest disconnect for Discovery, because I thought I like Michael Burnham personally. I was upset that I didn't get the chance
I love
to meet.
Sonequa Martin Green.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to meet her at
She was
STLV. The
great.
line was too long. I waited on Ethan Peck line, and once I met Ethan, I went to go to hers, and she had gone, okay, bye-bye. So I didn't get the chance to meet that, and I probably would have been a bumbling idiot if I would have gone to, because I loved her on Walking Dead, and I'd be like, yeah, I am the Joe, So I've already done that with Brent Spiner. I don't want to do that again, because they're gonna go, that guy, he can't. Ugh, poor guy, But I enjoyed her. I actually enjoyed quite a bit of the cast. I love the Doctor. I love the 2 engineers. I think they're fantastic.
Anthony Rapp, Doug Jones.
It's a great cast. It's great characters.
It's a fantastic.
I'm trying to get used to Anthony Rapp. I'm not actually that
Wilson
keen.
Cruz.
I think he's my least favorite
Wilson
character,
Cruz.
but it's the fact of I don't know if it's him. I don't know if it's the writing or something. But he's the one where I'm a bit like, okay, struggling with this. But despite being a gay character, I'm still a bit like, oh, I'm not. It feels weird. But Doug Jones, man, Doug Jones.
Oh, he's so good, and the way he walks and with those like high heels, brilliant. And I really think it's the fans not really liking a big mystery box, a thing, because it worked for Battlestar Galactica, but Battlestar Galactica has that whole setup because you have one alien and one human race. You know what I mean? It's not like you have a bazillion aliens out there and you want to talk to all of them and touch them and see what they do. What does this one do? You know what I mean? Like that's the disconnect. For Star Trek to have this massive universe of 4 quadrants full of aliens, we want to go and see and explore and see all these new lives and civilizations. And when you're kind of pigeonholed into like one dedicated thing a season, I think that's the disconnect with Discovery, and I think that's the issue with the fans. Me, I love it. I'm like, give me some Trek,
Yeah, delicious Trek. Nom nom nom.
Yeah.
I just want to answer Fleet Admiral Sherwood's earlier question, about do you think the end will be when they become captains? We're definitely going to get an episode that's like a time travel episode or something where it's like, every show has had one where it basically goes, hey, I wonder what it'll be like 20 years in the future, and that's where we'll see them all as captains, like how we had in TNG, where like in the final episode,
with Data with the white.
Like I'm sure we're gonna get like an episode like that at some point, but I don't know if it's gonna last long enough.
Mike McCannon is a smart man. He's a very smart man and a passionate Trekkie. He has saw what's happened to Prodigy, and he is saying if you want Lower Decks to continue, you need to watch Lower Decks. You need to get other people to watch Lower Decks. You need to basically, as we all know with YouTube, if you want to do anything on YouTube, you need those hours. You need to get people watching. You need to get people's attention, view times, durations, and everything like that. McCannon has definitely got a get out clause when it comes to Lower Decks, because he will see the writing on the wall and go, if this does not get picked up, I want to wrap this up in a neat bow. But I also want to leave room for it to continue, because like with Shax, everyone loves Shax. Shax came back. The Black Mountain. No one really does.
Yeah.
So I think he's clever enough to have something to wrap it up in a neat bow for fans to go, that's complete, I'm happy, but then also leave it open for potential. Like season 3 Picard, where we've got the Enterprise G, we've got Jack Crusher. Oh, the adventure is just beginning.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if that's where you if that's where you want to get off on the bus, that's fine.
Yeah.
So
But
I think
they
the plan
did.
is there.
I think they did announce season 5 at Comic-Con.
Oh, it's already that. Yeah, yeah. It's already
Yeah.
been. I mean, after
So
Discovery,
we're good for certain. We're good for season 5. Yeah.
after Discovery, we are going to have a long wait for any new Star Trek. So I think they're gonna they are gonna give between Lower Decks and Discovery.
You're gonna have Prodigy season 2 on Netflix.
I think they're gonna air that after Discovery because Paramount's gonna have to take stock and go. Everything stopped in May. We have got nothing to go, so we're gonna have to say release Discovery in February. Let that go for 13 weeks, right? So that's
we're actually getting a longer season. 15.
May. So that goes to May. Well, so that goes to May, February to May.
Either way,
We'll then do 10 episodes of Prodigy season 2. So then
Mm-hmm.
that's more or less half a year, nearly a year taken up. Well, yeah, half a year taken
half
up.
a year. Yeah.
That allows them time to get something else recorded. But not. It's very much unlike 90s TV, 2000s TV, where it's like, oh well, the reason why the actors on DS9 weren't watching DS9 was because they were recording episode 15 when episode 3 was out, and this and it's. I don't think Paramount will do that. I think they'll just. If I'm honest, guys, any live action Trek after Discovery, 2025.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a shame.
2025.
Because the
latest.
actors are still on strike right now too.
Yeah, 100%.
So even if they did everything was copacetic and things were green lit, they would still need time to then. Okay, we got to finish the writing, which is what they're probably doing now.
Film, edit,
film,
polish,
edit, and all that other.
The
CG,
Section 31 film will probably be late 2024.
2025.
That's if the strike ends. Say, if the strike ends in December, I would say late 2024. But again, I would say 2025. Paramount's got a problem, but all the studios have got a problem. They know what they need to do. They are just delaying it for as long as possible. But like Michelle Hurd has said, they are shooting themselves in the feet.
Yeah, they've got no product.
They've got nothing.
And the what is it? The stuff that like so I married an axe murderer. That's not the show, but The Bachelor. Yeah, same thing.
Oh,
Beth is.
But shows like that are people aren't going to stick around for that stuff too long.
But the reality, I mean, I hate this, and Synoiz will know this because I have a passionate hatred for it. The problem with reality TV is that it is a dime a dozen. You can make it so dog cheap, and they can just flood the airways with it whilst all these actors are on strike. And the problem with that is, and this is what happened in the 08, 09, 07, 08 strike, this...
It's garbage.
It makes me sick, but it brings about the rise of reality TV stars.
Yeah, we're going to stop following stupid people. We elected one to president already. We can't keep doing these things.
Beth has asked a question there. Do you ever think that there will be a Star Trek short series with all captains, past, present, and future, like an animation where some of the original actors voice their characters? I don't
if they could convince Avery Brooks, that's going to be the
He's not doing.
That's going to be the
Guaranteed
difficult
not
point,
doing.
and also Shatner. Like, it's the fact that Shatner probably won't do it because he's a dick. Avery Brooks probably won't do it because he'll be like, "Oh, I'm done with this character now. I don't."
Yeah. No, it's not. He's done with acting. He's mad that, and I can't blame him, but he's mad that teachers and doctors, not doctors, but teachers and firemen don't get paid the same amount as actors, and big actors, not just not like Joe Palmer going, "Guys, I'm in Star Trek finally."
I think maybe down the line, and it's sort of a cheap get out, Beth, if they do this, where they have the crossover. We've had one crossover.
Yeah.
But I think to have a captain's past, present, and future. Now, fun fact, and I don't know if you guys did know this, this was on the cards after Insurrection. There was going to be I think it was post-Nemesis, there was going to be a culmination movie where it was Janeway, Sisko, and Picard all coming together to fight a threat within the TNG timeline.
Oh, that would
That
have
would
been
be
cool.
amazing.
It would have
Yeah.
been amazing, but it just never panned
Hopefully
out.
not the Borg.
No.
Jesus.
The disastrous performance of Nemesis canned
Killed it.
anything. Yeah, killed it. Absolutely killed it. There was talks of a TNG era and Enterprise crossover in that movie as well. If anything, the rise of the popularity of Enterprise and DS9 particularly, I think we're going to see, and we are already seeing it, more in those shows, coming from those shows. We did it in Picard Season 3, and we saw a lot of it in Strange New Worlds. It wasn't directly mentioned for the most part, but we did see a lot of the NX. We did have mentions of Hoshi, Travis Mayweather. In Lower Decks, we've had the Malcolm Reed Collection Jigsaw, which Dominic Keaton absolutely fell about buzzing over because it's Dominic, bless him.
Did he get really excited about it?
He loved it. He absolutely he was like, "Who's this handsome fellow?" I
love it. He's such a lovey.
I love that man. I love that man.
And I like how Connor was able to reprise his role as Trip in short treks.
Very short treks. Yes.
Yeah, very short treks. But they could do a short treks anthology series of different captains. They can go Enterprise C. They can go Sulu on the Excelsior, which I think would be fantastic. You could definitely get the Enterprise B show going because we never knew. Apparently, that served the longest in history.
Yes, John Harriman.
So that ship, John Harriman, that's why the ship is still in use when it comes to the Dominion War, which is like almost 100 years later. So there's a lot they can do with different captains in different eras. Maybe not, and they could even have them come together because they could do a show like a movie about trying to save wherever it happened.
I think it would feel too much like an Avengers cop out.
So much.
And
I agree with Joe.
Star Wars is doing it, man.
What?
Star Wars is doing it.
Yeah.
They're doing Ahsoka. They've got I think it's called the Skeleton Crew with you guys, Jude Law.
Yeah.
It was a lovely person. I met him by mistake one day, and I was like, I look like Jude Law. Oh, I am then. And I was like, oh my god. And then of course I lose. But you're building up the Star Wars universe. You got Mando, you got Boba Fett, you got Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew. They're all in the same connected universe, and they're going to make a bigger end game with them. So I think it works as long as you don't oversaturate it too quickly,
and it's done right.
And it's done right.
I think. I mean, we all want Star Trek Legacy. That's a shoo-in. I think now is the time. It's been 20 years. Now is the time for some Star Trek Enterprise love.
Yeah.
We need to go back. We need to go back to that era.
Yeah,
we do.
They got shortchanged. That would be amazing.
We got shortchanged. They need that redemption.
They were a victim of circumstance, I think.
Yeah.
Berman's revenge.
Yeah.
They didn't even get a proper goodbye. They should do a Star Trek Archer. That's what they should do.
Oh, Star Trek President Archer.
Yeah, or whatever you want to do, but definitely get
although for
I even
trolling
talked to Mark
purposes,
about that interview.
for trolling purposes, they should still end it with Riker coming off the holodeck. It's just I imagine they do a
program,
full on
like
sort of Star Trek Archer, and then they still end it like that, and they're like, fuck you, fanboys.
Oh, that would be hilarious. Cruel, but hilarious.
They're all stories by Benny. That's what they are. There we go. I think that's a good place to wrap up this episode. Synoiz, you have anything to add on this week's episode?
No, I think we've covered that. The only thing I want to mention is that I will be streaming on Twitch after this. I have been very, very sporadic of late with it, but it's because I've been so busy. But I'm going to be streaming some silly Halloween retro games. Yeah.
Oh, jolly good.
We'll see how that goes.
Although I did say I will be back on the 17th of August, I did get ill. So I will be back this Tuesday. I don't know what the date will be this Tuesday. 24th of October, something like that.
Let's say yes.
I will be continuing my journey through Uncharted. I will finish Uncharted 2 for my lovelies, because I know you've missed me, but I will be back with the unicorn headband, which is somewhere over there in the pit.
Amazing.
This. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I just want to say one last thing. If you are in Newcastle on the 29th of October, which is the Sunday, come to the Bank Bar in the gay district on whatever street it is, but it's basically the Bank Bar, because my good friend Candy Snatch might be performing a very silly number as part of their Shady Ball, which is a free drag event. And they have it every year. It's a very fun event. It's basically spooky. It's for charity. Yeah, come along and let's see if we can raise some cash for a good cause.
This
Aw.
Sunday on the Nerdy Up North YouTube channel, we will be reviewing Idle Hands.
Oh wow, that was a good
Is
one.
it? Is it this Sunday? No, that's Monday. Monday will be Idle Hands. For some reason, that came up as Sunday. There we go.
What's on Sunday?
I think our rather lovely colleague Lee will be on reviewing. They are reviewing a movie.
They've
If
never
Lee's
done
in the
that
chat-
before.
If Lee's in the chat, I know, yeah. If Lee's in
Lee,
the
what's
chat,
the
Totally
movie,
not the
Lee?
thing
Come
that
on,
you
quick.
do.
if Lee's in but yes, so we have Monsters Up North on Monday reviewing Idle Hands. I will be back on Twitch. We will be back obviously next week for episode 9 of Trekking Up North Reviews Lower Deck Season 4. Tucker versus the Evil Dead. That's what
Tucker and Dale versus
Oh, Tucker and
Evil is
Dale.
what they're talking about.
Oh,
On
that
Sunday.
was
So if you're a fan of that film, or even if you're not, tune in on Sunday for that. And
That was a hoot.
squeeze a teat.
Captain Joe Dove. What is
Indeed.
next for the Captain's Quadrant?
For us, the Captain's Quadrant will be diving into the last 2 episodes of Lower Decks. We will have special guests for both episodes. We're going to have one of the Dora sisters from the Dora Sisters podcast joining us. We're very excited to have them. Her on. That's going to be amazing.
repulsive.
Human females. Huh? Yeah, I can't wait. That's going to be a lot of fun. We are going to go back to the movies next month, and we are approaching our 100th episode. So we are very excited. We have a lot of things planned. There'll be some giveaways. There'll be T-shirts. There'll be trinkets. Lots of fun things. And we're going to have
Trinkets. T-shirts and trinkets. That's an Etsy store right there.
Yeah, right. T-shirts and trinkets. Yeah, right on the Captain's Quadrant. And of course, the lovely Jason Rogaston will be steering the ship as always. And we have a very, very special surprise coming up in the future. I'm going to keep everybody in suspense about it, but it's going to be a very special live episode and to be continued.
Oh, you heard it here first, guys. If you are not a member of Nerdy Up North, what are you doing with your life? We've got a lovely Facebook group. Click subscribe, hit that notification bell, caress the notification bell, caress it, and squeeze the bell and smash that like button, because guys, you do not realize how much the algorithm relies on the like button. We need all the likes that you can give. So if you've not done it, do it. If you're watching this back, hit that like button. We are all over the place, all on the socials. Everyone who is mentioned down there, including Captain's Quadrant, give them a subscribe, give them a follow, watch their stuff, because it is all fantastic, top shelf, Trekkie goodness. The person who does our theme tune, why, that's the 64.725 meter high Viking god that is Adam. He recorded that, and you will be hearing a lot more of his music going forward. We've got JL Sawyer, who does a Twitch as well. He's down there. Lee's on our Twitch. Click on the Nerdy Up North Twitch. Basically, anything you want to see us, or speak to us, or contact us, or caress us on, maybe not caress, we are there in the description below. You can find me on X/Twitter/Elon Musk's spaff tank. Goodwill, none. You can find Joe at Captain's Quadrant at, I believe you've got another...
All the socials.
All the socials. All the socials.
We're even on Blue Sky.
You're on Blue Sky? Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, hello, must like you. But, but yes, that has been our review. We are all rather tipsy, except Synoiz, who's the most sober one out with us all, which is...
You'd never guess.
You would never guess. But until next week, my lovelies, take care of yourself and each other. Live long and prosper, and we will see you next week.
Miles! Miles!
Candle slag.